And what is up, everybody? It's your boy Yimbo. Welcome to Yimbo Buys Everything. This is episode 44. Welcome to my channel. It is Yimbo Reviews Everything. Right away, if you are here in the chat, if you can hit that like button, that is awesome. I would truly appreciate it. I have a big show tonight. Another special guest in my series of interviewing my fellow toy photographers. And this guy, he's the nicest guy when I got to meet him in person a few weeks ago at a Toy Con, and I've just been so stoked. So I see he's in the backstage area of StreamYard. So before I bring him on, I know he can hear me, so I'm going to just do a quick little rundown. So number one, thank you very much for being here live if you are joining us in the chat. So here we go. I have Gaming with Fox. Again, I always recommend it's my boy Paul. If you enjoy video game streams, please check him out. His enthusiasm, he's just one of the nicest guys I know. So go hit up Gaming with Fox. And here is King Eternal. What's going on? And on Instagram, that is Autumn Night. So go check him out because he was one of my awesome interviews from a couple of weeks back. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I'm not even going to get into it. I swing and miss on these big holidays. I do what I can, man. I'm sorry, wife. I love you so much. So I do hope you guys had a great one. And Mom, if you're watching, happy Mother's Day. I'm sorry to get to see you today, but I will see you this week. And before we begin officially, again, I wanted to thank Kevin, aka Lone Wolf Labs, for donating not one but two dioramas last week for my very first giveaway. So we did end up, I know we had Yondu was hacked, but he's bounced back. He has a brand new account. So Take More Toy Photos is his Instagram account, and Ichigo's mom. So congratulations to those two winners. And what else? I wanted to thank the Non-Artistic and Hidden Figs. They brought me into a collab for a reel that was fun this weekend, and I got featured on Grown Ass Man Toys. So that's awesome. So again, some great stuff, but this is it. I wanted to hop right in. Just like I want to get to the toys, I want to get to this interview. So I'm about to bring him in. So here's Trevor, 1/6 shooter. What is going on, Trevor? Where is he?
What's up, sir?
How are you, man?
What's going on?
Oh, I am very excited. So again, thank you for taking the time. Yeah. You're making the rounds this week, right?
Yeah, this is another one of those weeks where I'm like freaking everywhere. It seems like everybody wants to book me like all at once in like bunches, and I'm like, dude, I was just on another show, and it's like,
right.
I don't think anybody wants to hear me anymore.
No, well, that's the nice thing is it's all different people. It's all different. I would assume
that's true. Yeah.
Because you were just on Infinity Equation. That's a name that I've heard. I just haven't they haven't been entered my rotation yet.
I know there's a lot of those guys are great. There's a lot of toy shows on YouTube, man. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff vying for attention. It's almost like I was saying on that show that I want to do like a TV guide. I know you're too young for a TV guide.
I am not too young. No.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna be 40 this month.
Okay, I still have some years on you, but yeah, TV guide, like where they used to go through the grid, and I want to do that for like all the YouTube shows.
I know. I think we made that joke actually. We were talking about that on when we met at the Toy Con. So
probably yeah.
Again, you probably met a million people that day, but I remember making that joke because I just discovered your channel that you were going live, and that's something else we're going to touch on today. So I always say, you know what? The more toy talk, the better, honestly, and it's just more stuff to throw on when I'm shooting. And
true enough. Yeah, no, I like it too. I love it when I'm shooting. Just listening to it in the background, it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have my questions lined up for you. Again, this.
Well, first of all, I have to know how did you screw up with the wife? What'd you do? Mother's Day is a tough one. Well, Valentine's Day is the toughest, really.
So here's the thing. I'm a dad and I'm a husband that shows up every day. I'm one of those. I'm in it. So these big holidays, even her birthday,
so you get a pass.
Not exactly, but I try. And you know what? Yesterday, my daughter came down with a stomach bug. So she was supposed to be away, and I was going to have the day to do arts and crafts and get things set up, and then that was taken away. And I'm with her. I'm with my family all the time. So that's kind of where.
Yeah. All right.
So that's it. So it's just the pressure, it's societal pressure, the expectations put on us.
Yeah, exactly.
No, so no,
Exactly.
so like I said, wifey, I love you. She knows. I hope. So we
I'm
did
sure.
make a painting for her today, so it's all good. We love her
Okay.
very much with the handprints that turned into strawberries. So
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
a little arts and
You're
crafts.
good.
So anyway, so here we
Yeah.
go. The
All right.
first question I always have, and of course now I can't find my two. Oh nope, yes I can. My
I
two
know what
little
it
guys.
is, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I appreciate you. You've been checking out my show. Thank you very much. So these are my two guys. That
Mm-hmm.
when I look back, these are the two responsible for this collection of nonsense that I have behind me.
Well, those are
So
fairly recent figures too, right?
well, these are
That's
this was. I
toy.
mean, I was born in '82, so this is an
Okay.
'84. Like this guy came out in '84, and I
Mm-hmm.
have the '85. So it's like '85. I was 3 years old when I got the Batmobile for
Okay.
Christmas. That
All right.
the
80s.
supercars.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then this
Okay.
was the Secret Wars, which I
Right. Right.
I'm guessing was
Toy Biz.
still. I mean, it must have still
Let's
been
see. I have the
around.
Secret Wars comic book. When the hell did I read the Secret Wars comic book? Yeah, that had to have been late 80s, right?
That's what I'm thinking. So
Mid to late 80s, somewhere in there.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
Yeah.
but those, I mean, like I these were well played with, very well played. Like you can see the paint job. These are my
Oh yeah.
original. Like I mean, I beat these guys up. These
Oh
are
yeah.
my
Yeah. Yeah.
go-tos. My Superman is the third. I always say like my holy trinity of my fandom is Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man. Those are my top three. And I mean, it's changed since then, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that was it growing up. And Superman, I missing the cape, the arm is gone, the symbol's completely blue,
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
ripped
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say like have so the question. What's the exact question though?
So
Go
the
ahead.
exact question is like when you look back at your childhood or at whatever point you started
Mm-hmm.
like having action figures in your life, who
Yep.
can you pinpoint as like those were the ones that now yeah, that's why I love this stuff.
All right. I'll show you. I just pulled this out the other day too. It's. I mean, I had stuff before this because I'm older than you. But I had things like a cousin gave me like 12-inch GI Joes. Like the old
Okay.
GI Joes with the fuzzy
Sure.
heads,
Yeah.
and he gave me his like Jeep, like full size. These are 6-scale Jeeps and a 6-scale space capsule. These things were insane, and they were really
Yeah.
cool. But I wasn't really into the army thing. I mean, I played army and stuff like that outside, but I wasn't really into the army thing. And I mean, before that, before 1977, I'm not saying it was the dark ages, but we didn't have, you had Westerns, you had, G.I. Joe, and, I mean, there was science fiction, but it was like kind of here and there, you know what I mean? So until Star Wars,
Yeah.
So I would say I had a lot of stuff. I was
Okay.
fortunate enough, younger, to get a lot of stuff, and there was some cool toys. Like there was a toy called JJ Arms. Look that up. I had the $6 Million Man with the
Oh,
look through the
yeah.
eye and stuff. That was very cool. So those are all very cool toys. But I mean, this was this is the line. This is my actual Han Solo from when I was a kid. I drew a beard on him with a blue ballpoint pen, so he still has the markings from the ballpoint pen.
Oh,
And
that's
then,
amazing.
this is the full Magilla right here, man. This
Wow.
is everything right there.
That is something. So that was all childhood. This is it.
This is everything I've had since I was a kid. Yeah, I kept
Oh
all
my
the
God.
stuff, kept all the guns. I was pretty like anal retentive about the collectible stuff. You know what I mean?
Sure,
Like, I was
sure.
just like I had everything organized, and if I lost a gun, I freaked out. Like I was really upset. Because it was hard to find these things, man. You couldn't just go online and order them. You had to go down to the drugstore. You had to go to KB Toys or something like that, and
Yeah.
Toys R Us, and try to find them. And they weren't always on the shelf. So
Oh, I trust me. I totally get it. Like again, like I just being a little bit younger than you, but like man, like the Ninja Turtle stuff. Like if I lost a Sai or a katana,
Oh, yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
lose my mind because I was very
Yeah.
very much on top of those things.
yeah, you were on top of it, and it was like I mean, as a kid, like you relied on your parents to buy these things for you for the most part, or allowance. Like an allowance,
Right.
what did that add up to? You could get like a figure a week,
Right.
like something
Right,
like that.
right.
So, God forbid you lose the stormtrooper's gun, then like damn it, I got to buy another Stormtrooper now. Like,
Yeah.
I can't get R2D2 or something this week. So.
So that's a great. All right, so those are really fantastic. Have
Yeah.
you looked up like? I mean, I know when it comes to like some of those, the childhood stuff are like the hand me downs. Those are the things that like just for my kids to have. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I find it very cool for them to play with like my real Ghostbusters Ecto One. You know, like stuff that
Okay.
that I've beaten up myself, and now it's like, hey, now it's like they get to play with that. So,
right.
like, have you looked up any of the value of some of those things?
I have some doubles of them, so I did look them up a while back, and I took pictures, and I was going to sell them. Now I have like a little display, and I'm like, I don't know. I might hang on to. I might sell the doubles. We'll see. But I mean, they're in good shape. I have like the Luke, and he's still got the little tab on the lightsaber and everything, and it's not scratched up. So I have a Vader like that. The little tab on the top of the lightsaber, the little tip of it, is like a big deal. If that's broken off, then it's not worth as much. But they're probably $50-$60, maybe a piece $70 or something like that. I mean, I got like a dozen doubles over there, so I could probably make a little money and buy some stuff. But I got a lot of stuff like that's just got to go, man. Like, it's starting to get a little crazy.
Well, that's okay. So we could jump ahead to this question.
Sure.
So are you at the point? I feel like that's been a common thing that I've been feeling in group chats and with myself and my own collection. Is that where you are? Where it's like the last couple of years, it just piled up on you a little bit.
Yeah, and it's for a while there, it was just like I'd see something, and from this, like you'd go to a store and you'd see something. It doesn't matter if it was in your collection or in your, it was Batman or whatever the hell it was. It was just like, that looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I can see shooting do a shot with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it would be completely something out of my window of collecting, like, I don't know, like Jason Voorhees or something like that. Not that I did that, but like, just, I'm not like a big horror collector. I like horror, but like I just buy it just because, like, oh, I could do a shot. I could see doing a shot, and maybe I'll have an idea for a shot. And then it sits in a box, or it sits, if I find shelf space for it, it comes out and goes on the shelf, and then I'm like, why do I have this thing? Why do I have this? This doesn't fit my collection. I'm not going to shoot it. I have so much stuff that I really do love that I still haven't shot, so why do I have this thing?
Fortnite was me. I grabbed a few of those.
I did the same thing. I did the same. I got Peely. I've never even opened Peely. I didn't never even, like, by the time I got Peely, like, everybody had done every banana meme, photo shot that I'm like, you know what, this isn't me. I'm not even going to do, I'm not going to use Peely. What am I going to do?
Right.
Come on.
I was just going through organizing my tubs yesterday, and that was another Agent Peely, and I just, like, it's a neat figure. I don't like
it. Is
I can see why a year ago I thought, I'm going to shoot the heck out of this, and then it just never happened.
Well, I saw people doing some cool stuff with it, and you work it in with King Kong or whatever. It's all funny and fun, and I'm like, I'll come up with something I'll have an idea, and I know that I'll want it when I have that idea, and then, like, it's out of sight, out of mind, and I just don't care, man. I don't know. now it's just taking up space, and I'm like, I got to get rid of this thing. So then I've got some stuff like 1/6 stuff. Like, I've got like a big Walking Dead collection, and I have a Game of Thrones, the 3-0 stuff, the 1/6 stuff, and I love I love the books. I liked the show up until the last season, and that kind of took me out of it. And it was, excuse me, a couple of those weren't very good figures. I mean, some of them are good. They're hit and miss.
Okay.
And again, I'm like, why do I have this on? It's not a very good looking figure.
Sure.
I like the franchise, but I don't need everything representing it on the shelf. I keep Jon Snow and the Night King and Tyrion, and I'm good. That represents the show, and I'm good. I can't do whole detolf with Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? It's pretty nice.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just kind of going through and like really looking. It's hard for me to like sell stuff sometimes too, because I just look at it and go, I'm gonna want this. I know I'm gonna want to shoot this or something. You know what I mean? But I think The Walking Dead's winding down, and it's the other thing is, like, you kind of think about like the ability to get rid of it or the value of it if you're thinking about that. I'm not really always thinking about that, but in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, is anybody going to care about The Walking Dead? You know what I mean? Like people are
That's
already starting not to care about it now, and it's still going
sure.
on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So like, am I going to be able to sell this custom, Rick figure that's like a custom head that cost me a couple $100? You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
nobody's going to want this thing, and I'm going to have to like give it away. You know what I mean? Or put it in a box. It's
Right.
ridiculous. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going through right now.
Yeah, it is tough. It's the stock market. It's the
It is.
just the cyclical nature of this like hobby, and
Mm-hmm.
as much as I hate the game of it, especially like the buying and selling, and like like I was so on the fence. Here's one. I'm glad I kept him, but my Moon Knight,
Oh
my
yeah,
Mezco.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
my first Mezco,
Yep,
and
it's a good one
I
to have.
yeah, and obviously, like when the show debuted, I was like,
Yep.
oh well, he's through the roof right now. And it was
Mm-hmm.
actually my wife. She goes, she's like encouraging me to stick with like she wants me to focus on like Mezco stuff. She's like, if there that's your favorite, because I've always said like I love Mezco because it's like a mini hot toy. It's a 6-inch hot toy.
Yeah,
That's how kind of
yeah,
look
yeah.
at it.
Absolutely.
So she's like, they photograph so well. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
she's like, if you're into it, then keep it. She's like, keep the Moon Knight. So I was very happy she told me she encouraged me. But she does want me to now like vie away from the legends and some stuff
Mm.
like that. She she
Yeah.
doesn't mind me focusing on the higher premium stuff, but yeah, she
Right.
wants me to
Because
bring in
it's
less of
because it's
this.
because it's less of it. It's, what it is.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
you buy
Also true.
one figure to five, basically.
Yes, it is very true.
Yeah, I mean the legend stuff is I got a lot of legends, and it's another thing where it's like, well, I should get the Fantastic Four because I'm going to want to shoot the Fantastic Four someday, and I've shot the Fantastic Four once.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'm going to get to him again. Maybe a movie comes out or something will inspire me, but
Hmm.
yeah, they just take up a lot of space, and now they're getting to a point where, at least with Legends, that they're so deep and they're so like such new characters that I still read comics here and there, but like I
Hmm.
don't know what's going on with everybody. I don't know who who's the dude with the what do you have like a guitar or something? What the hell? No, wait a minute. It's the new one that just came out with the 2-pack with Venom with the wings. What the hell's that guy's name?
Oh, see, like I pre-ordered that one through Target, but I might cancel it. Noel, is that his name? I think his name is Noel, but I don't know him either. And I wanted
Yeah,
that
is it
Venom with the
no?
wings.
Yeah, well, I know. Yeah, yeah, but I'm not doing it. That was like $90 or something, man. That was
Yeah, so
ridiculous.
Target had it for 73, and with the
Oh, okay.
5% red card. But
All right.
again, I might still cancel it because that's I've been on that kick too of like I pre-ordering a bunch of stuff early and then going back in and figuring out where am I canceling things. I need to things have to go.
I still end up doing it with some stuff though, man. Like right here. I just I pre-ordered these guys a long time
Oh
ago, and I'm like,
man,
because they looked so cool and just like it's
that
that
almost
word
got me too.
toyetic and like just fun. Like this would be fun to shoot. I love Robin Hood. Robin Hood.
Yo, me
Not a
too.
big Disney person, but I
Yeah.
always loved Robin Hood.
Yes.
But I mean, I didn't just get Robin Hood. I got Pinocchio, and
Nice.
it's like, and now like, well, I don't know. It'd be kind of fun to shoot Alice in Wonderland too. Maybe, but I
But at
mean,
least
I got to stop, man. It's just
right.
stupid. It's
But
not.
at least
It's
those
not a thing
figures
I collect. You know what I mean?
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I was gonna say at least that like talking about like market value and everything, those will always be popular because the Disney Vault, the Disney Arc, whatever, like it's in the
Yeah,
archive. Disney
yeah. I
Plus.
mean, that's exactly. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Disney's never not going to be popular, so you
right.
could definitely turn around and sell those in a few years. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
but man, I held out. I felt stopped myself, and it was
I
those,
know.
and then Darkwing Duck that came out recently, and that was very
Yeah,
tempting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know.
And the
I know.
Buzz, everybody was talking about that figure arts Buzz, and
Dude, I came this close on that Figure Out's Buzz, and it's another. But I knew it at that point. It was like I own no other Toy Story
Mhm,
characters. I mean, I
right.
love Toy Story. It was a great movie, but it's just not my thing to shoot. And I haven't even seen. I've seen
Mhm.
clips of the movie, but it just looked cool.
Yeah.
Because it's superposable and it would be interesting to shoot. But there's other things I'm getting that are going to be taking the place of that. I think that it's the same genre. You know what I mean? It's a
Sure.
space guy. It'll be fun. I
Right.
don't need Buzz. I don't need Buzz Lightyear. I just don't need it. Don't need it.
That's it, and that's what I've been doing too. It's the mantra. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. We're good. I don't need
Don't
it.
need it. Don't
It's
need it.
just
I just look around and go like, look at all the stuff that you haven't shot. You know what I mean? Like and like focus on that.
yeah.
You know. I don't know.
Well, I went through my tubs, like I was saying, and I think my
Well, that's the other thing I got to
my
ask you.
den. What? Oh, what's that?
Well, the tub thing, like
Yeah.
I know a lot of people. I'm lucky enough to have like I have pretty much the half. It's not finished down here, but it's finished enough. I've
Hmm.
made it up, but I've got a lot of shelf space, but I am basically out of shelf space.
Hmm.
I'll give you a quick whirl around here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hang on a second. So, all the 1/6 stuff is behind me over
Oh my
here,
God, look at that.
there, and then if we go over here is my shooting table. Then there's,
Very cool.
it's just it's endless. It's all around me.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, no, when I'm
So,
sitting in here, yeah.
question being, like, people have said like, oh, I put things that don't fit into a tub. Shoot, my camera's all screwed up now. And I'm like, are you collecting it at that point, or is it just like, you just kind of, I'm not saying you specifically, but like I've thought about it. I'm like, I might have to
Yeah.
put some stuff in a tub, and I'm like, I don't know if at that point I'm like just hoarding it, or you know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, I feel like I've definitely mentioned, I've used the H word. I've used the hoarding in terms of collecting on the stream before, like, because there
Mm-hmm.
is a hoarding element to what we do, just it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I, I like my GI Joes. I love the classified series, but
Okay.
it's not even. I'm not one of those people that's like super into GI Joe. I just happen to love the classified, so then I just got hooked into them. I love the figures. I love how
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the so
I know.
now I shoot. I'm part of a collab Sundays, and that forces me to
Mm-hmm.
shoot every week, which is awesome.
Well,
But
that's good.
otherwise, they live in a tub. They live in a little tub. Like like it
Yeah.
opens, like they all sit in there. Same thing
Right.
with my wrestlers are now in that. Masters of the Universe figures are in there. McFarlane's have that become that too, and it's
Yeah.
because now
Well,
my NECA display, and I have these guys that I have to figure out what to do with, and I got my Mezcas over here.
some
Yeah.
McFarlane's deserve to be in a tub, but
Oh, I
that's
know,
another
I know.
thing.
All right.
I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
no, I'm with you.
I'm just kidding. Um, yeah. So like, I don't know, man. I just, when I have to put things away or swap things out. I mean, the swapping things out is kind of cool though too. Like,
Yeah,
if you're gonna
yeah,
go
yeah.
through your display and like, you know what, I'm gonna take all these guys down. I'm gonna take these guys out of the bin and put it up there. A little more work than I want to do, but I could see that too. I don't know.
Well, if are you
I don't
the
know.
type of guy like the classic meme of like the where you're just standing around staring like I definitely come to my basement and just look at the stuff on the shelf like
Oh
if I
yeah,
need like a let me just forget about the world for a second and let me just stare at
yeah,
my stuff. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that would be a good idea then to swap because like when I clean up the shelves like
That's
it's
yeah,
basically a day I'm losing shooting because like I might get an hour or two to actually pull off shots in a
exactly.
day.
Yep.
So that's like, okay, I'm gonna just deal. But to me, I'm like, all right, I'm dealing with my toys. It makes me happy, like it's not an Instagram thing, but this is
Right.
bringing me joy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, so
I feel good cleaning the shelves. It's good. It's therapeutic.
it
Sorry,
is,
my
it
camera
is.
keeps messing up. I don't know what's going on here.
No, you're good, you're good.
Keep talking.
So the tubs that I was even referring to, God, I in my garage now are I wish I counted it 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe 8 or 9 of like the big tubs that you would get from Walmart or Target,
Yeah.
and I'm down to now 2 that are left of like toys in the packaging, and the rest are now I save all the boxes in
Yeah.
the I'm that guy, so I
I
don't
know. Me
know.
too.
All
For the
right.
most part, not Marvel Legends and Black Series.
Mhm.
I get rid of that stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, everything else. I mean, Hot Toys you have to. Mezco you have to.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a bunch of other stuff. Anything
Yeah,
expensive, man.
I
Like
know it's
SH
true.
Figuarts or Mayfax or. Yeah, I mean, you got to, and that adds up, man. All the
It,
Mythic Legions, I keep all the Mythic Legions
oh
boxes for the
yeah, I
most
feel
part,
like that's
unless I'm
another one that
doing.
you'd have to.
Whew, yeah, definitely people want those. So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean that's a whole crawl space over here that's filled
right,
with boxes of boxes.
right, and that's the element that drives me nuts. So it's always I respect the hell out of the people that just are like ripping open toys or just I just threw out all my stuff. Like good for you,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like I guess I always consider like that element again to the hobby of there will be a time my opinions will change and something can go and I want to be able to maximize the value for what I can get in return. You know, like
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. I mean, if it's
yeah.
not costing you money, that was the other thing I was thinking about. Like at one point, like, hey, I could get a storage space and put some of the stuff, not just the boxes, but I got other
Hmm.
things. I have a house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a good sized house. I don't have kids,
Hmm.
so like, I have an attic in the garage. It's hot up there in the summer though. That's the problem.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's great down here, but like, oh man, I'll get a storage space and clear up some room and stuff. And I'm like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, what? Now this is going to cost me money. You know what I mean? To save these boxes, that's going to
Yes.
make me what? You know what I mean? If this
Right.
costs me $50 a month, that's $600 a year. In 3 years, those boxes aren't going to be worth it. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
$1,800 that I've
Yeah.
spent on saving the boxes that that are going to get me like another $30 a figure or something like that. It doesn't add up economically. You know what I mean?
Fair.
So
Fair.
you got to keep them in the house, and they take up space.
Yeah, this is my buddy Agent Varian. Who you met, George?
Hey, what's up, George?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the box of the most consuming space eaters. Yeah, it's true. So he's another one too. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to part ways. You can't. It's like certain
And it's
stuff.
I feel for people who this camera is making me nuts. I feel for people who don't have, I mean, I don't know what people do when they don't have like they're in an apartment or it's you got a smaller house or you don't have a dedicated space or anything like that. I mean, yeah, I mean it's a lot of space to take up, man. I see
Yeah.
people's collections and I'm like, where's all this stuff going, man?
I
'Cause
mean,
I'm
I
out of
think
room.
I think a lot of I mean I think we're again I look at it like I'm fortunate to being in a house that I have the space to store these boxes because I think I think a lot of people do have to get rid of stuff. Like I know
Yeah.
that in one of my group chats people were joking about the Mezco Deadpool that like nobody has the boxes for him. Like
Really?
I won him on a Mezco Monday, so I was very
Oh
pumped.
yeah.
And so
Nice.
I was able to keep the box because I
Mhm.
literally have now a big tub of all my Mezco boxes.
Right.
But that must be the case. Like it just just people have to chuck it. You gotta part ways.
Well, you
Save the
think about
space where you
people in
can.
People in Europe. I mean, people in England and like the
Mhm.
flats and stuff they're not huge. You know what I mean? Anybody
Oh,
living
in
in a
Japan
New
too, I
York
would assume.
City, yeah,
Yeah,
Japan, New York City apartment. I mean, it's just
yeah,
like it's your whole living area. You've got
right.
figures in the kitchen if you've got a lot of figures. You know what I
It's
mean?
true.
Like you just do. But like, where do you put all this stuff? It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
had an
So
apartment in Morristown, and it was this. The act of collecting began again, obviously, like lockdown, like many people, like I think right beforehand, I'm like, I'm gonna start taking pictures of my toys that I had been like slowly buying over like a 10-year period. And
mhm.
then once that happened, I was like, I'm gonna make this a dedicated toy page. And then I started buying toys, and then it was game over. And so this had all exploded. But when I was living in Morristown, same thing. I had like like a shelf of stuff, and like I either threw stuff out or I had maybe one tub of the boxes that I threw in the storage locker down in the that
Right,
was
right,
it.
right.
Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. I started out like this was going to be, uh, like I said, I have all my Kenner stuff from when I was a kid, but like I
Mhm.
got a couple of Hot Toys when the Force Awakens came out. They came out with the OT figures, the Han and
Okay.
Chewie and Luke and stuff, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get Han and Chewie just to put on my desk,
Yeah.
just as something to stick on my desk. I knew some other
Sure.
people at work who had a bunch of Hot Toys, and they're like, ah, cool, yeah, right. Did that. I'm like, well, if I got Han and Chewie, I gotta have Luke, right? I gotta have
Right.
Luke. And Leia. Well, you gotta have Leia. Okay, you gotta have all four of them, right? Well, Ben Kenobi would be good too. Well, I mean, Darth Vader. You have to get Darth Vader. Come on, Darth Vader is Star Wars, and it'd be great if you had a couple stormtroopers on side of, So a year and a half later, there's 200 plus Hot Toys in my house, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's out of control. It's out of control, man.
So this is so funny. Really, before I started again, like buying toys, like I mean, like in the last couple of years, I thought Hot Toys. I didn't know that they were 12-inch figures. I didn't know they were 1/6 scale. I just thought that they were like these really nice action figures. So I was looking at all the Spider-Man stuff, and I think I waitlisted myself for one of them.
Hmm.
And it's a good thing, like, again, because my wife has now made me promise her, please don't ever go Hot Toys, please stay 112. Like, I'm fine with the Mezco, but please, just for spatial reasons, don't do the 1/6. So actually, this was my first
me.
question, because I wanted to go
okay.
back.
Sorry,
I love
way off.
no, this is a perfect segue. Like I said, I write the stuff down. I take my note. Look, I got my notes, and then I let the conversation flow. So this is
cool.
I love your name, 1/6 shooter. Fantastic. I think it's just clever. It's perfect. So number one, where did it, like, was it? It's obviously from shooting Hot Toys, right? Like, that was like the 1/6 scale. Then were you a fan of westerns? You mentioned the westerns before. So did that tie into it?
It's a play on the 1/6. That's
Okay.
it. It was that, and I thought that was going to be, because that's all I was collecting at the time, was going to be, the gist of my focus.
Okay.
So, and it really was for the first, year or so. So yeah, I mean, it was perfect. You know what I mean? Like, wow, this is perfect. And now, of course, everybody's like on me too, because I don't shoot as much 1/6 anymore. It's like, when are you going to change your name to 112 shooter? And I'm like, yeah, that's funny. I'm stuck with it now. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. Funny. I was talking to somebody online. Greg Hildebrandt is a fantasy artist, and I was going to buy a book from him that he signed. I did end up buying it, but I talked to his wife and his manager on the phone. And she's like, okay, 1/6 shooter. She's like, so you're obviously a gun owner. And I'm like, no. I'm like, no. No, I shoot 1/6 figures. And I talked to Greg, like, I'm online and stuff like that. But like, they kind of know who I am. But like, no. She's like, oh, okay. I think it made her feel better. I don't know why, but like, I'm only buying a book. It's not like you have to bring it to my house. I don't have any guns. So yeah, it's. I'm stuck with it.
No, well, I mean, it's memorable. Perfect. It is super memorable. Good, no, it's fantastic. And again, like, I mean, like, Tombstone is one of my favorite movies.
I do love westerns, though. I will say I do love westerns. Tombstone, Pale Rider, Good, Bad, and Ugly, obviously. Clint Eastwood's. I've kind of soured on Clint Eastwood, but his westerns are great. I mean, I can't deny it. Love is all his westerns. So. And I just recently got that Red Dead Redemption.
And that's what I was going to bring up. So hold on, I got to share this up, because this is why, when I was very curious to hear about your fandom, to see if it was connected to westerns, and if it was more than just the Red Dead, because, man, Arthur Morgan, the shots that you've done with this figure, and I was so sad, honestly, when I found out it was a 1/6 scale, because I love this.
Everybody wants a 112
so much. Oh man, I need a 112 Arthur Morgan so badly in my life. This shot, and this was the one where I right before I had met you and watched your behind the scenes, your reel. And I'm like, damn, man, you make some good reels too. Like, it was just, everything was so well done. Like, this is really when I started discovering your account, which I know it doesn't feel that long ago, but man, it, like, just tremendous shot. Look at this. Just
thanks. Yeah, this stuff is fun. Like, I like, with 1/6, it's the portrait stuff. You know what I mean? You can do action stuff. I've done action stuff with it, but it's tougher. It depends on the setting. You know what I mean? With Star Wars, you kind of got to have a set to put behind them. You know what I mean? Unless it's just going to be a black backdrop. So with this just kind of awakened me. I'd never had a Western figure before, and I kind of like it a lot, man. It's just. I got to tell you, I've never played the game either. I've watched people play the game. Yeah, I don't have time for games at this point. I just don't. I mean, I bought Elden Ring, and I haven't touched it. You know what I mean? I haven't even touched it. So I'd love to play it. I just don't have days to dedicate to it right now. Or I wouldn't be doing any of this other stuff.
Sure.
But anyway, so I don't even know if any of this stuff has any relevance to the game whatsoever. If he would be, I'm assuming he comes with a coffee cup and the fire, like he'd be drinking coffee out in the, so yeah, I love atmospheric stuff like this, man. This is just, and there's depth here. So you've got the horse. I happen to have the horse.
So that's a
in the
1/6.
tree.
That's a 1/6 scale horse too.
Yep, he's right here.
Oh,
He's still
get
on the
out.
horse.
Oh, here we
There he
go.
is right
Let's
there.
bring him back up. There we go. Oh man, let's see that. Solo, come on, my poor computer. I gotta. Oh, look at that. So wait, did he come with that, or you said you had one already?
No, I had the horse. I bought the
Okay.
horse for. I don't know what I bought the horse. I think for Indiana Jones, or it was just probably just one of those things that just came up, and I was like, "Oh, I should get a horse." You know what I mean? It's a static horse. I mean, the 1/6. Unfortunately, it doesn't. It's not mobile, but it's not articulated. But
Okay.
it's nice looking, and it works. I've done shots with Indiana Jones on the horse before, and somebody else. I don't remember who.
Oh, that's
But,
awesome.
yeah, that came in handy for that, man. It was
Yeah.
perfect.
And then this was the other shot too with the horse. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
And what I loved is that you went with the different head sculpts because again, Arthur, I played that game. And again, I don't have the time. This weekend I decided to beat Last of Us Part 2 finally. This is like game's 3 years old or whatever. So I finally beat it this week. It took me all school year, like since September. I've been working on this game. So again, it's because otherwise, video games cut into my action figure stuff. So
well, that's what I mean. I know it's like, and you have to see your family every once in a while.
Well, yeah, naturally, yeah. So, and trust me, I stayed up late. That's another reason. It's not my kids just making me tired. I also stayed up late this weekend. Just to get this done. I can't do that
shit anymore, man. I used to stay up till 3 a.m. playing like some of those Tom Clancy online games and stuff, man, on Xbox.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, that's what I basically did this week. Not the 3, but 2. And I'm hurting. Guys, I'm gonna be 40 in a couple of weeks. I can't do it like I used to. But Red Dead Redemption, so 1 and 2, but the 2 especially with Arthur Morgan. I mean, God, I loved and I grew out the beard and the long hair for Arthur. So that's why I like having you play around with both looks, but that's what I fell in love with that first shot. And then when you came back with this one, I'm like, oh, so it's I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I had to just change it up. I kind of took some, I looked online, I have to do this for when I've shot for, Asmus Toys. Well, Asmus Toys was always sending me these Devil May Cry figures, to promote and shoot. And I'm like, okay, I've never played this game. I don't know what these people do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I got to actually do research for it, so you have to go online and sit. So I kind of did that with this just to make sure that, because the thing is, I don't really care. It's a cowboy to me. I'm going to do what I want with it.
Yeah.
I don't care if he doesn't, whatever I have him doing, if he's not doing it in the game. But there are those people, those people that are like, oh, actually Greedo never blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't care, man. I don't care. So, but if I'm going to promote, a Devil May Cry figure, then I guess they want to promote it to people who know the game. I better do something that has something to do with the game.
Sure, fair. That's fair.
I got to watch people play the game. I got to look up what their powers are and what they do. It's like, they wanted to send me another one. And I'm like, you know what, guys? No. It's like, it's honestly, I don't collect them, and it's too much work to research it and do the shot.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
I hear you.
So,
I hear you.
Yeah.
So Cox Create asks, is that a digital background for the Arthur shot? Is that
it is? Yep.
Okay.
They're both digital backgrounds. If you go back to the other one, it's
okay.
This is a lot. This is probably the most digital backdrop, although some of the bushes and trees in that were real. But if you go back to the first shot, what I like to do is, if you look at that, it's just the trees that are in the very background around the horse and the top of his head. There's a real tree. There's a dio tree behind him. That branch is a dio. The rock is a dio. The plants behind the rock are dios, dio pieces. So I only like to do about 25 to 30% tops of a digital background.
Okay.
For me, it just I want to fill it up with things that are real. And use that as basically a backdrop. And I think it just works out better. I mean, the other shot I did worked out, but that's a lot of background for me. That's almost probably, 35, 40% of the shot on that other one. So that was a little, sometimes that stuff doesn't look right. You know what I mean? I find it works best when there's like a sunset or a sunrise, and you use a very bright light to recreate that sunset or sunrise, and
Yeah.
you get a little bit of that light, kind of creating flare on the lens and stuff like that. So it just sells that it's actually there. Because sometimes
Hmm.
those backdrops, you can just tell. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's just a background. You know what I mean? And so, the more stuff I think you got to anchor it, the better.
Okay.
That's my
No,
philosophy.
no, I'm with you. So because I don't mess. I have taken digital backdrops, like
Yeah,
do you call it just digital backdrop or digidiorama? I've been hearing that term lately. The digidiorama.
I just call it a digital.
So yeah, I was looking for that Star Wars picture. You did an
Like,
amazing one with so I've been using mostly, diorama extreme sets, diorama prints, that type of stuff. Oh, this was the reel for it. This shot was excellent too with the Vader helmet.
oh yeah,
Oh man.
this was
So all right,
last July,
here
last
we
May
go. Here's
4th.
another
Yeah.
one with. So this is the digital backdrop. So what do you use in the background? Is that just a
This
television?
is a Yeah, it's a television. This is another one that's like it made me uncomfortable that it was that much behind there, and I probably would have tightened this up, but this was literally like a last minute idea, and like uh, it's
Yeah,
it's
I
an
think
okay
it works.
shot.
I,
It's
I
not my
wouldn't even
favorite shot.
know, to be perfectly honest. Like it doesn't like I know that as
Yeah,
an artist you always pick apart your own shot more. I always do the same thing. I'm like I get upset about
the
stuff.
key is the key is again finding elements that you can sort of bring forward. So I do have those are actual rocks that they're
Hmm.
standing on, and then there's some rocks behind that. And if you can get like you can see the background is in shadow. If you can get other elements, your real elements, to also be in shadow, like
Okay.
flag the light from them, it
Yeah.
creates more of that depth. You know what I mean? I didn't do a great job of it here, but what does work is that there you can look at the background and look like you can see it's kind of misty mountain, backdrop.
Yeah.
I added another sun in there in
Nice.
Photoshop, but I use fog in almost every shot, so the
Okay.
fog kind of tied it all together. So there is
Sure.
no seam there. It's not like an obvious break in between what's real and what's digital. So anything you can do to break up that, that split between the backdrop and the foreground, I think helps sell it.
And has that been a thing that you've done forever, like the digital backdrop, like, or is that, or the? I
No,
mean, I know it's a combination, but
I started out doing I started out trying to print backdrops,
okay.
and then I did some. Then I started trying to do like I'd use a dio as a as a backdrop,
Mhm.
like a brick wall, like everybody does,
Right. Right.
and then I just I did some port. I can't even remember. I don't. Let's not go that far back on my feed, but I started doing it fairly soon. Because the
Mhm.
other thing, what I started doing is because I've been using Photoshop for a long time.
Mhm.
I started experimenting with doing setting up figures. You'll never find it. There's one way back with some snow troopers. If somebody wants to look it up later on, it was many years ago. But they were just on a black background or a gray
Okay.
background. I forget which. And I basically just cut them out in Photoshop and put a digital backdrop in, added some fog on top of that. It was layers and layers and layers of stuff. You could look at it and you wouldn't, I don't think you'd be able to tell.
Sure.
But that's what I was going to do. Like, that's the way I was going to approach things.
Yeah.
But can I swear on here? That is a
Yeah.
shit ton of work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hours and hours of editing, and I'm like, just for one shot, and then I'm like, there's got to be another way to do this. And then I was looking
Yep.
online, and just because I was always study like actual photo techniques, like
Right.
videos of people doing portraits or setting up shots of some great people who do just like portraits in environments and stuff and build sets and costumes and stuff like that. It's great.
Sure.
And somebody was doing and product photography because essentially that's what we're doing is product
Oh,
photography.
absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
I was like watching somebody shoot some jewelry and they were using just a laptop. They just used the laptop and they had like a nice whatever setting that the ring or whatever the hell it was, the watch, whatever was on,
Yeah.
and the laptop was right there. I'm like, that's good. Like that's really good. But shit, I'm only gonna be able to do that for like 112 figures. And I'm like, well, I could get a TV.
Yeah.
So for a little while, I was pulling things up in my living room after everybody went to bed. Well, my
Hmm.
wife went to bed, and I'm like, this is not sustainable. Like, I just
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I gotta leave things up for days sometimes. So I bought I mean, everything's cheap now, but like it was like a 55-inch TV. It was like two or three
Yeah.
hundred bucks, and
Right.
put it down here, and yeah. So that's it. It's a big TV. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Same
I
with
have a
us.
46-inch down here that is from, again, my old apartment days. It's
Yeah.
this bad boy's been holding up on me,
There you
and
go.
it's worked. I'm still struggling with, like, I don't use it very often, really, because my whole thing is I've set myself up for like practical, like I said, like the like diorama prints, extreme sets, just whatever other dioramas I've built. So I have
Yeah.
this little L-shaped thing, but eventually I do know that that's something that I'm interested in going for. And that's one of the things that you mentioned, is that realistic, like, elements to it. I struggled with the ground, for instance. Like, I still haven't
Hmm.
had good groundwork. So
Yeah.
that's why I really abandoned using digital backdrops, because I didn't have enough realism in the rest of it to flesh it out.
You got to build up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I use moss mats that I basically glued to some pieces of plywood, and
Hmm.
at one point I drilled holes in there too because I had this whole thing where I took branches and put dowels in them so that I could move the trees
Oh, nice.
anywhere I
Yeah.
wanted all over the place. That
Hmm.
got to be a little unwieldy, and I didn't like the look of the real like tree branches because they just don't look like trees.
Hmm.
They'll pass, you know what I mean, in the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
background. Um, but yeah, that you've got to get the TV below the table. Obviously, you don't want that
Right.
seam. You don't want to have to cover up that seam. And then it's all about just finding things to fill. Either an object, a character, a rock, a tree. I go to the craft stores and get these little things. I guess they're like fake succulents and things like that. They
Yeah,
make
yeah,
like
yeah. Sure.
bushes. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
you can't tell. It's just it's something in the background. And that kind of helps to break that, put those in the background, and it just breaks that line between
Right.
whatever you've got for a floor and the backdrop. Like that. There's just some line of things, not literally lined up, but you know what I'm saying. You know what
Sure.
I mean? Levels of things is even better.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You got something in
Well,
the middle, you got something in the background, you got something in the foreground. You know,
and I know that
that's
this
the way
was,
to do
I
it.
called this shout out because I mean, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Spidey's my number one. I've said it
Oh
on here
yeah,
before. So I love this shot, and I know you did the behind the scenes for it. And again, very simple, because these are 112 guys, but the fact that
yeah.
they take up so much of the screen. And what I love is how you hit them with that light to get the sunset look, because
Hmm.
I've struggled with, like, the reflection of the lighting off of the TV screen too. Like, that's something else.
Okay,
But you made it an asset in the shot. Not
right.
not that the
So
reflection. Yeah, right.
yeah, so you can do that with. I mean, if you've got a big enough figure or figures, you can always put the light right behind them. The light's going to bleed
Right.
around them if you have the sun coming for. If that's your shot, you know what I mean. If
Sure.
that's your
Right. Right.
background, the background here dictated that there was sunset down an alleyway of buildings.
Hmm.
But in terms of like keeping, that is the biggest thing. And I have a video on my YouTube channel, so go check
Yeah.
out my YouTube channel about flagging off lights from the TV screen. So there's this stuff called cinefoil. It's like basically tin foil, but it's flat black. And you can
Okay.
get a roll of it for probably, I don't know, $20. Shapes any which way. I might have a piece of it here. I don't know. Anyway, just like tinfoil, it shapes. You can move
Hmm.
it, rip off a piece, and basically, if I have a softbox or a light I've got coming in, that depending on your angle, you're gonna see like, oh, that's that light that's reflecting on the TV right there. So you
Sure.
use that stuff to just wrap it around the light on the TV side,
Hmm.
still coming in, hitting your scene, but it's not reflecting off the TV at that
Okay.
point. So it's flagging the lights. There's a lot of different ways to do that, but the cinefoil is great for that. So yeah, I used to run into that all the time. I'm like, how do I put this softbox over everything? When I look back there, there's a whole line of the softbox reflecting. So I clip some cinefoil to it. I shape it
Okay.
so it's still like angling towards the scene, but
Hmm.
it's now not showing up on the TV. So yeah.
All right. Well, you mentioned your YouTube channel, so
Yep.
I wanted to ask you too, like, so because I apologize, I didn't get to go back and do all of the research on like when you began. So how often when did you start live streaming? When did that take off for you?
I actually started doing like video. Like I was gonna I'm still doing it.
Hmm.
My whole thing is like doing tutorial photography videos, which was going to
Hmm.
be the gist of my channel. I have veered off that path a little bit. I
Hmm.
brought it back with some what I'm calling shoot and reviews, which I just did
Okay.
with Ahsoka Tano, the 1/6 hot toy Ahsoka Tano,
Right.
and
Right.
I did with the Nosferatu from the new Nosferatu from Mezco.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of trying to get like, hey, here's the figure, here's everything it comes with, and then let's use it in a shot, and I'll show you
Yeah.
some things behind the scenes about how to do this in a shot, how to do that in a shot, just bringing it back to the photography.
Hmm.
But then I started doing the 1/6 pack on another channel a couple of years ago with a couple of friends of mine, and we're like, we kind of missed it,
Hmm.
and like let's bring that back. So now there's every other Friday we talk about 1/6 figures, and then every other Monday I have
Yeah. There you go.
Legions Lounge, which is really the most popular thing on my channel right now. And we talk about Mythic Legions. We had Cornboy from Four Horsemen on there recently. That was a great conversation. So it's always a good time. Have a lot of good topics, contests and giveaways and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I started it less than maybe a year ago.
Okay.
Dipping your toe in it, like you
Sure.
probably did. You just put up a video, see what happens.
Yep.
Nothing happens, so let's
Right.
all right, now let's do something else.
Yeah.
And I'm over. I'm at 1.2 now,
That's great.
so
That's
pretty good.
fantastic, and
It's,
that's
it's growing.
yeah, and that I mean, right now, like I'm just doing the Sunday thing. I was
Yep.
doing the reviews and like edited stuff, and
Well, I mean,
that
you're
just
supposed
like
to be
anything
reviewing
takes some time.
everything,
I
Yimbo. What's
know.
going on, man? Let's get on it.
I need to get back into like my edited, my pre-recorded stuff because that was always fun. I always had a good time
Yeah.
throwing the little things in. But the live streaming has made it significantly easier to make consistent content.
The editing is a pain in the ass, man. It takes
Yeah,
so long, so long. I mean, I don't not enjoy it, but it just
yeah,
takes a long time.
right. And again,
So,
when you have a lot of things going on, like especially
mhm.
for you, like I mean, like you're working with companies and they're sending you things and you have to research and
Yeah.
there's a
And
lot
then
going on.
I have another job outside of that. You know what I mean?
Right,
And like,
right.
yeah, I mean, the editing like is fun, but it's almost like you'll edit a video and it'll do okay. You know what I mean? Like, depends on what it is. I have one good one with the. Well, I have a bunch of good ones, but I have one that took off with the goblins from Mythic Legions, which
Mhm.
it's a good breakdown. But then you spend hours and like 200 people look at it. You're like, all right. What am I doing this for? I do Legions Lounge and I get
Yeah.
100 people in the chat. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, let's just keep doing that. So
I
whatever.
hear you. I hear you. Where was I gonna go with that? I had oh
Sorry,
man. No. That was just this is just the late night of
I know.
at the end of the weekend when the brain starts like
I
it's
know.
not really firing at all cylinders anymore. Um but
So I started it. YouTube. Yada
yeah.
yada.
Oh
Nothing.
no, I remember now. I'm sorry. I was
Okay,
gonna tell
there we go.
everybody because as someone like I've talked about dipping my toes into the mythic, and
Yeah, yeah.
I'm all in on the cosmic. You hooked me on the cosmic legions with your shots, and so I
You're
was gonna
welcome,
say,
and I'm sorry.
yeah. So cosmic, I'm all in on, and I was gonna tell people that it was either a week or two ago. You did an amazing episode with your buddies that talked about like how to, you know, basically fill out your collection if you're in Mythic now, like if you're
Oh
just
yeah,
starting. That was an excellent episode because again, a lot of my friends here, Roman
yeah,
Toys 89 is somebody that has just been getting into it. Blitzfigs is,
yep.
and I know that they're leaning on eBay, but you gave such great advice. So I do recommend that for everybody to check out.
Yeah, that was a good episode, and Bill from Dorklair is on there, and he had some great advice for that stuff too. But it's just, yeah, I mean, it's like everybody. I'm still going back. I'm about 10 or 11 away from being fully complete if you don't count the birds. I don't count the birds, but
Okay.
some people do. But I'm 10 away without the birds. And I just filled in a couple the other day. I got Sir Ignatius and Scapular.
Nice.
So, but it is. I mean, they're crazy priced. You know what I mean? And but yeah, we talked about also not having to be a completist on there. But I mean,
Right.
if you're looking for a faction and you want to fill in something, go and you can check it out. But like go and buy the current thing, the current wave from Four Horsemen, and hang on to it for 4 or 5 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
you can turn around and get double the price on some of those things. I'm not condoning scalping, but even trading for
Right.
people that have other doubles of something you're looking for. Anyway, it's a good video about that stuff. We have a lot of different
Yeah.
tips
Well, I
and
mean,
tricks and stuff.
like that the recent Cosmic Wave was $200, and
Yep.
I'm not like I off the top of my head I can't even say like they all look awesome, and you made them look great in the product shots that you did for them, like the reveals.
Thanks.
So, but I know that there were a couple that was just like, all right, like lukewarm
Yep.
on.
Yep.
But going all in for $200 is a free figure with the accessory pack.
Yeah.
And like you made the argument on your show, it makes sense to hang on to somebody. Like I'm not gonna go rushing to crack open everybody. First of all, I have too many toys to shoot anyway.
I know.
that's a big thing.
Right, they're going in the bin.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like there might be stuff that you don't like, and you never know what's going to be. Still don't think you can predict, even having been around these things for a while, like what's going to be the thing that people are searching for. You know what I mean? Like that one figure that's like, oh no, everybody under ordered that, so
yeah,
that's harder to find. And I think like Imbira Gyra, the sort of scorpion woman.
okay.
I think when people get that in hand and she's got that flexy tail and everything, I think that's going to be something that people go, yeah, I don't really want that. I don't need that. And then everybody's going to be looking for it. So getting the all in, even if you don't like her, you can turn around and sell it. Maybe she might be the hot ticket in that wave. She might be, because she might be under ordered. So,
and I know in my group chats, people love the alien. Just the alien looking dude.
And the alien is going to be everywhere. But here's the thing. Here's the other thing. Like they're not Hasbro, and they're not. They're not under the radar anymore the way they were. Everybody's talking about them, but there's people coming into this hobby all the time now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like a year from now, somebody missed out on that alien, and they're like, "Oh my god, I got to get that alien. That alien is so cool. How do I get that alien?" Well, he's all sold out.
Right.
But you got a couple. You know what I mean? Like, you can help a brother out, or you can make a little money for your next toy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm already starting to budget for my pile of loot, because I hadn't realized that that was wave 2. That wave 1 had already been announced and was already sitting up there. So I had to go back, and that pile's gonna hit me hard. Because I wanted to get. I don't have any of the mythic ogres, because I really decided I'm gonna just handpick a couple of mythic legions here and there. I'm gonna go all in on the cosmic, just because to me it's just like I'm gonna have an easier time now than going back. There's
that's what a lot of people were thinking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like I think you had pointed out with 2013. Like was when Mythic started, right? Like that's when they first, So like that's a lot for me, like 15, and I see some buddies going back and filling in lines and filling in factions. Like I said, my buddy Benny's trying to get all the skeletons right now. It's tough. It's tough, and I didn't want to drive myself
crazy.
That's
the way to go, to try to like just fill in a faction or a race or something like that. Because if you could be a completist, but if you're going to be a completist, you buckle up, man, and like make sure that your spouse is okay with all these this money you're spending, because it ain't cheap. But yeah, that's what a lot of people said, is like, oh, I'm going to get in on Cosmic on the ground floor because I missed out on Mythic, and there's a lot of people that just weren't into the fantasy thing either, that are more into the the sci-fi space stuff. So like Liquid Momes is they're safe investments, man. You can definitely,
for sure.
Right now,
I mean, man, the Mythic though, I love Lord of the Rings, and I love Game of Thrones, and I all of this stuff, like, but like I miss the elves, and the elves are like really hard. Like they're like all through the roof on.
Well,
Like,
here's what I was going to say as you were talking about that, because you having gone to the New Jersey Toy Show, you can go back. They have stuff, and what's the
Right.
great about this, if people don't know, is that they do these all-star waves,
Yes.
and they'll bring things back.
Mhm.
And they'll reuse I mean, every toy company reuses parts. So it's
Sure.
not going to be the last ogre that they come out with. You know what I mean? So
Right.
if you have
Right.
any, just have patience. You'll get another green ogre at some point,
Yeah.
or maybe you'll get a red ogre or a blue, I don't know, whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
There's a vampire ogre coming out. If you have the
Oh my God.
wherewithal to paint it green, you can have a green ogre.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're gonna get the stuff again. It's not gonna be the last. They're not ending. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just patience, trading. It's you can do it. You can get the stuff. It's not impossible for a decent
So
price.
true. Very true. All right.
You know what
So.
I'm into now?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Hit
I'm
me up.
into the Joy Toy 1/18th stuff, man. I just ordered some of that stuff.
Is that the
It's like
which
the
one is it?
little. There's these little. They
4-inch
make
the
some of
4-inch
the
ones?
Warhammer stuff, but they
Okay.
also make like this new line of like, they're almost like Wasteland Warrior type
Okay.
characters with motorcycles, because you can get vehicles and stuff. You know what I mean? You can fit on a table.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool. I got to try these out. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh man. I mean I've made that joke. I'm like, man, if I only started toy photography going like, maybe I'll just do the 375 inch
Yeah,
figures.
I know. I'm all about the vintage line now too with Star. I've stopped pretty much collecting Black Series, and I get vintage.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Not everything, but the
Sure.
Mandalorian stuff and here and there, But
So
they're nice.
yeah. So Joy Toys are awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been hearing about these.
the
Are they
mechs
also the
are
ones that
nuts
Yeah.
too? Yeah.
the mechs? That's right. That was the one I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking of. All right. So do you go back and reshoot certain people? Like, like I know you had a couple Arthur Morgan shots, but like, are there people that you go back to that you gravitate towards shooting? Like, if you thought about, who you've shot in the last year,
Figure wise,
or are you always like, because of just so many toys, you just got to shoot
I get
them all?
bored with things, but I
Mhm.
mean, I think the reason that a reason I'm doing the Mythic Legions pictures is because I just like, I got the first one, I opened it up, I took some pictures, and I'm like, I love these things. Like, these are
Yeah.
my imagination is running. I love like you. I love fantasy
Mhm.
stuff. I love fantasy art. I mean, I love Frazetta and Vallejo and the Hildebrands and everybody in that genre.
Mhm.
And I think that I like the freedom. I mean, I kind of try to stick to the storyline, even though nobody, I mean, unless you're into it, you don't know what it is. But in my mind, like, it's so open. It's not like Star Wars where it's like, God forbid you put the wrong character in the wrong era with the wrong, it's like, oh, you can't do that or whatever, so
Right.
somebody, like I said, nobody can tell me who's who in these, you know what I mean? Like, this is a bad guy in my scene. This is a bad
Yes.
guy in my scene. These guys are a party, a Dungeons and Dragons party, and they've gone out and they found a casket and there's a dragon behind them.
Right.
There is no dragon so far in Mythic
Mm.
Legions, but I don't care.
Yeah.
So I think I can't say specifically one figure, but it's all I always come back to Mythic Legions. They're just they're fun. I have a wide variety of them.
Yeah.
The horses make it really interesting, and the variants in sizes and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. It's just a lot of fun to play in that fantasy sandbox, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Well, my wife was funny. She was, like when we were having dinner, and and I was telling her, how you've shot for Four Horsemen and all the others, and she started looking up, and she's like, she's like, I'm reading the website. I don't understand this. I said, that's kind of the beauty of it. They give you this little preliminary background, but really, you can do whatever you want with them. And like,
yeah, I mean, they've built up a great world. I mean, they've really done an excellent job of the story, and I think this game coming out that they're doing is going to build up on that even more. If for the people who want to play it, but you don't have to. That's the thing. It's not like you're not coming into it. More and more, I think that's where things are going. You know what I mean? I see a lot of it's not as much backlash on Marvel Legends, but the Black Series lately has been like another repaint.
Hmm.
I think they're getting low on characters that anybody gives a damn about. First of all, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
and it's basically is repaints because the first version you got wasn't very good. There's a lot of like Mezco, like the Rumble
yeah,
Society. That's their own IP. That's like
right.
nobody knows anything about. And strangely enough, I don't shoot those enough. I don't know why, but I don't know what is it about them. I think they're too varied. Like I don't know how to work in Gomez with um, I don't know. I'm trying to think of one of the names of these guys.
Well, like
Like
Hawk.
Doc Nocturnal or something like
Yeah,
that. Like
yeah, yeah.
how do I work them together? Like Doc Nocturnal gives me these like noir vibe things, and I
Yes.
want to see
Yeah.
like noir characters, and like the what's his name? I'm blanking on all these names. I don't know
No,
why. Like
it's
like Nate, like Nemo and stuff like that fits in,
right,
but then they
right.
don't really like. He's in the sea, and like there's no synergy between these
Yeah,
guys,
or like
but they are
Atticus
really
Doom.
cool.
I
Atticus Doom,
love
like
Atticus Doom. I love
yeah,
his
like
figure. I've only done a couple of portraits so far because I
yeah,
don't know what else to do story wise.
yeah. I mean, I think it's just having other things to play off of it because yeah, the portraits are great. Like my friend Tom Iwatu did a great portrait of him, and once I saw that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of like what I should do probably. I don't
Yeah,
know, like I don't know what setting to put him in and what props should be around him, and I need somebody for him to be going up against. He could be
yeah.
going up against an ogre from or a troll from Mythic
Right,
Legions, I
right,
suppose.
right, right.
And I
I
probably
mean,
will do something like that at some point, but I
I
don't know.
will. I will tell you that Amazon has tentacle, like octopus tentacle finger puppets.
I've
For
looked at those. Yeah,
I bought the green ones and I
I
use
feel
them in
like
my
I have to
portrait. They're
paint
awesome.
those though too, right? Like, or
It,
they look
I mean,
okay.
like
I don't
I
know.
thought they worked. You can check out my
Okay.
shot later. I thought they
Oh,
looked
I've
really
seen it.
cool.
I've seen the shot. I've seen people use them and they look good. I
Yeah,
mean, D Amazing, I think, was using them in the
that's
shots
right.
with,
Yeah,
and they look pretty good. They look pretty
yeah.
good.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you can. Like it, like there's also some realistic looking finger puppets you could have gotten
Yeah.
too. I decided to go just green. They match the portals and the other magic effects.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but uh, but yeah,
Oh, well,
like
that's
it's
true. Yeah, for him, yeah, it's kind of a magical. It could be just magic. It's more of a
right.
Cthulhu type of thing than
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough because like like I started trying to do like a Gomez versus the multiverse type of thing and just have him taking out different characters. I started trying to do where Gomez was going to be fighting these guys, because I
Yeah.
got the head,
Oh,
and then
nice.
it's just a matter of finding the time again to shoot it because then Moon Knight's out and then I want to shoot Moon Knight and then it's like, well, who? I just
Yeah, I know. I know. I've given up trying to jump on to the hot property bandwagon because I've realized I've come to grips with I'm just not good at it. Not good at shooting it, but like not good at getting it out on time in order to capitalize on like
yeah,
oh, Moon Knight, yeah, like maybe I'll shoot Moon Knight, or maybe I'll do Fantastic, whatever the hell it is that
yeah,
just came out, Mandalorian, whatever. I'm like,
right,
that's not gonna happen. I got an idea, but it's on the back burner for something else right now. So
yeah.
May 4th is the only thing I can really commit to once a year, that I have to get a Star Wars shot done for May 4th. That's it.
Yeah, well,
That's
like
hard
Moon
enough.
Knight, and that's the other thing. I just had him fighting like, is it Tibius, the mythical, like the skeleton guy. I was like, oh, let me just have him fight,
That's
just because like I'm not gonna do anything
yeah.
storyline show related. Forget that. This is
No, no,
just
no.
like, ooh,
The
I
skeletons
wanted,
work really well though,
yeah,
yeah, for that
yeah,
stuff. Yeah. Yeah,
but
like mixing that Doc Nocturnal and the skeletons and stuff.
yeah,
I played
yeah.
with that. So
Man, I
yeah,
almost bought one toy line I haven't touched at all, but I've thought about is the Storm collectible stuff. Have you
I
messed
got
around with
those.
them?
I
So
got the
like
skeletons.
this
Yeah.
Golden Axe skeletons, I saw it
Mm,
like a 2-pack, and I'm like,
yeah.
oh man, I was waffling the other day.
They're pretty cool, man. I
Yeah,
hate to enable you, but they are pretty cool. If you can find, I like the plain ones, but I mean I think I've now that's another thing I've gone down. Like now I've gotten all of them except for the green ones, I think, which came
okay,
with another figure. But I just got the translucent red ones and the translucent
okay,
blue ones, and those are pretty cool looking.
yeah.
But even just
So
the regular ones, even if you can just get the regular skeletons, they're really nicely articulated, man. Those are really good figures.
They have a 2-pack on Big Bad that was like $60. I'm like, $30 a figure. Storm is supposed to be pretty good. Like
They're good, man.
everybody.
You could definitely use them in
Yeah.
whatever you're doing with Moon Knight or Doc
Yeah.
Ock, or yeah, they're great.
Oh, yeah, that might be. I might have to go back and add those to the pile tonight.
Points for me.
Yeah, no, that's okay. But man, yeah, it is tough because like I really just at this point I've even tried to stop myself from shooting like the new stuff, like the new, like when Sentinel Peter Parker, I finally got him like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And of course I wanted to because everybody, that's what they were doing when they got it. But I've tried to break myself of that too, just to like, all right, when I get to it, it'll be fine. It'll still be there. Yeah. Like I'm not that account. I don't have the patience or the time to be here's a new figure. Here's the shot.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I guess it's almost like I should self-analyze this, but it's almost like a reaction to that. I think I see everybody else doing it. I'm like, I want to do something different. I don't want to do that right now. I'll do it when nobody else is doing it. That doesn't help me out. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would probably just get a bunch of likes just based on the fact that, because I've seen that happen when I actually have taken the time to do like the Sentinel shot or something like that, where I'm like, got that out as soon as it came in, and like it skyrocketed because everybody just wants to see pictures of the Sentinel. You know what I mean? They just want to see somebody do something with the Sentinel or with the whatever Mafex Wolverine, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
So when I've actually gotten that done, it does work, but I don't really care.
And that's, you know what? To be honest, there's so much stuff that I feel like can give us anxiety, like by doing the photography, Instagram, social media stuff. That it's nice to sever those type of things. I feel like it's nice to just break free and just
too much, man.
Yeah.
When I started out, I was like, I had anxiety that I wasn't doing a shot a night. You know what I mean? Like that I wasn't trying to get at least every other night. Like oh my God, I haven't posted in 2 days.
Yeah.
I don't post for a week and a half sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I don't care. Like if you want to leave. I don't care. If at this point I haven't proved to you that, there'll be something cool coming eventually.
Yeah.
Then okay. So
I hear you.
I mean, some people, you have the luxury of doing that once you get to a certain point, I think. But I mean, I'd love to grow it more. I'd love to have double, triple the amount of people I have following me right now. But I'm not going to get myself all worked up about it and not do it for the sake of doing it and not enjoy it. It's a hobby. You know what I mean? Yes, I've made it into a job to some degree, and that's work. Like when Mythic Legion sends me stuff that it's got to be done in a week because we're going to preview this stuff, I got to clear everything, and I have to do it.
Yeah.
And people will say like, "Oh, that's got to be so good," and it is great, but it is work. You know what I mean? It's work. So, it's not like what I want to be doing necessarily right now. Usually it is with those guys.
Right. I was going to say with them, I'm sure.
Yeah, but even then, it's like, oh, you got to shoot all the accessories, you know what I mean? Which it's not a lot of fun. You know what I mean? It's not a lot of fun just to shoot the accessories or do the turns and stuff like that. The environmental stuff is a lot of fun.
Sure.
So, you got to temper it, man. You just do it do it to the level that it's not interfering with your life and you're still having fun with it, because that's what a hobby should be.
Exactly. And I definitely feel like I feel like I finally hit a good point, when January rolled around, because like even in the fall I was still hitting, like November I was grinding. It was like life was tough. I teach. It was it's just a hard fall. It was a hard fall, and trying to keep up, with the the world trying at that point to be open, or at least at school we were open. Like it was that whole thing.
Right.
And November was hard, and I remember finally like coming to terms, and I've been working on myself too, and like not taking things personally, and like all sorts of self-help, and just getting to a point. So when January hit, like I'm just gonna have fun. I'm just gonna have fun. I'm gonna reply to I'm still gonna get out my comments. It's not gonna be in the timely way. It's if I'm in a collab, I'm not going to get back to everybody immediately. I used to. And like, literally I started getting iPhone hands. Like they still, like this weekend, I kind of had to take off of like
I
commenting
know.
and responding just because
Yeah.
literally, like, I'm like, I don't want to
That's
have.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
at one point, I was trying to respond to everybody, and just it got to be kind of silly because it was just like, thanks, thank you, thanks a lot, really appreciate it, thanks, thanks, thanks. Um, I mean, there is, I hit like on everybody's comment, but
Mhm.
I sometimes I'm like, am I being an asshole here? Like, because I just can't. Everybody who just like puts three fire emojis or something like that, I'm like, does that? Do I mean, thank you,
Yeah, like, of course, I
hit like,
appreciate it.
hit
Right.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I don't have. I mean, okay, uh, humble brag, whatever you want to call it. Like,
Sure.
if some of the posts that do really well, like the Death Dealer one had like I think pushing 200 comments.
Hmm.
If I can't take the time to respond to 200 comments on one post. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
I could do it. It's going to take me a couple days. And
Hmm.
like, I don't know. Does anybody care at that point? I don't know. It's somebody takes the time to really write something, meaningful and really point out like something or ask a question.
Yeah.
Happy to answer it. Happy to
Right.
respond to that. But cool.
Yeah. See, and this is
Thanks.
this is a
I don't
great
know.
comment by George. Like, if you're doing it, just for the sake of the algorithm, which is what, like, an Instagram coach would say. Oh, you're leaving it on the table. It's like, what do you want from me? Like, we're still people.
Yeah.
We don't have managers. We don't have people doing this stuff for us. It's just us, and I'm small potatoes compared to your account. So again,
Well, but
it's
it's
just
also like it's supposed to be like for me the reason I started doing it was because it was well obviously it was fun, but
right.
it's also like I do creative work all day long, but it's not like if I have to do a website for a law firm, it's not the most exciting thing to do. And I'm just a creative person. So I
Mhm.
need to do something. You know what I mean? So if I'm not doing this, I'm going to be doing something else, making models, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Um I want it to be a release and a creative freedom,
Right.
and not a feeling that like, oh my God, I got to get something done. I got to get something done. It's not working. I'm not gonna be able to post tomorrow. Who cares? I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't care. And I got to tell you, like, I don't know if it's just because I'm at a certain point or something, but it doesn't seem to. It probably does matter to the algorithm. You know what I mean? How much you're posting, and I probably could be doing a whole lot better if I was posting daily. But it's still not bad. You know what I mean? You post
Yeah.
something if you take your time and you really want to take your time on something. I'll spend 2 or 3 days on one shot. Sometimes I'll go back.
Yeah.
I'll reshoot it. I'll make notes on the in Photoshop. Like move this head to the left,
Yeah.
put that down, go back, reshoot it, re-edit it. Take me 3 days, and hopefully the shot's good at that point where it's like, boom, this is a great shot. Cool, people
Right.
like it. You know what I mean? Not just here's a guy standing there on a rock looking cool, I guess, but there's nothing to it, and it's just post. Or literally what people are doing now, just take the guy and put it in your hand and
Oh,
take a
that's
shot
it.
of it
Yeah,
in
we
your
were
hand, and
in
that
the
gets
comments. We were talking. Some people
five
were talking about the
thousand
antics.
likes because you're
Yeah.
Just Jay does it because he's Just Jay, like Jay
Sure.
Hernandez, but I'm not picking on him for that, but like
Yeah.
it literally you can do that. You can take a
Oh yeah.
picture of the thing in the box and the thing can get thousands of likes, and
Right.
like what the hell? What am I doing?
No,
So
I'm with you, and I think like that's the thing. Like, I feel like I wanted to bring it up, and like I'm glad we're having this conversation so people can hear too. It's like it's whatever you want it to be. Like, don't ever feel compelled to do it a certain way because you think you're placating the algorithm or whatever. Just do it because you're having fun. Like, keep
and
it
think
as
about what
fun.
your end goal is too. Like,
Right.
is it just? I mean, if you are just doing it just to say I've got 5,000, I have a goal, that's fine.
Sure. Hmm.
Having a goal is fine. But I mean, what's the point of the goal? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Is the point of the goal? What's your end game? You know what I mean?
Right.
Do you want to make money with this somehow? I will tell you right now, not a lot of money to be had. Un- Unfortunately, not YouTube,
Yeah.
but Instagram. You know what I mean? It's just
Sure.
you could get in with a company, maybe.
Hmm.
Companies don't really want to pay you to do. If you have tens of thousands of followers, you might get somebody to pay you to do a post.
Hmm.
Normally, the companies it's free advertising for them. We're already doing it
Right.
for free.
Right.
Why are
I
they going
know.
to pay you? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Hasbro doesn't need to really pay anybody to do photographs for them. They'll give you free stuff.
Yeah.
Which I guess, okay, if you're doing it for that, that's cool. That gets a little old too after a while, and it doesn't always happen.
Hmm.
So just think about your end goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't panic and freak out that you're not growing fast enough. Just have fun with it, man. Doesn't mean anything. Just it
Yeah.
means, again, somebody, the guy who you think you're better than or whatever could be taking hand picks again.
Yep.
And like getting 2,000 likes on it because he just put Peter B. Parker in his hand. You know what
Right.
I mean? You're not shooting Peter B. Parker. You're shooting a figure from 3 years ago because you
Yeah.
want to, and that's what you
Right.
want to do. So
Mhm.
screw it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, and like one of my whole things, I've been consistent about this since I've been doing, especially this show. It's been a year now, and I've been talking about like I still think this is first of all, this is a very niche, like niche, whatever. Like this is still small
Yeah.
compared
Mhm.
to like the makeup tutorial frame. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
we should be not focused on individual growth, like where you're stressing yourself out, where we should be continually looking at how can we keep raising the profile of everybody. Like that's why I think the handpicks do so well. Everybody secretly loves toys. So when they see that, they take off. But nobody really knows what we're doing, like the artwork behind it. And when my wife tells people at her job and they're like, wait, what? And she shows them, they're like, this is so cool. And whenever I've talked to people, like, what do you do?
People do open up to it. People who are, and like, it's not something I bring up at a party right off the bat, but if I get that nerd vibe from somebody, like, hey, did you see Doctor Strange? Oh yeah, Doctor Strange is so cool. Like, you then you work it in or whatever, and via, I used to have Star Wars figures when I was a kid. Oh, hey, let me show you this. But yeah, I mean, people are pretty receptive to it. I mean, you don't really get a lot of people going, oh, that's interesting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they don't know what it is. And if it's, you show them anything that's anywhere near good, it's like, wow, I never even heard of that before because people didn't, And yeah, you're exactly right that it's so, I mean, we get involved like it's this community and everybody should be knowing what we're doing. Nobody really outside of us, there's not a lot of people outside of the toy community. There's almost nobody who knows what the hell we're doing. So it would be great to grow the profile of that. I've tried to get New York Comic-Con. We just tried for Celebration too. We submitted a proposal that didn't get accepted to do, a toy photography panel. You know what I mean? And just introduce people. Like New York Comic-Con is killing me because I'm going to do it again this year. I'm going to submit it. But I'm like, half of your show now is collectibles and toys and stuff like that. And it's like, that's a hobby that's bringing people to your show. Now I want to show them, hey, what you could do with not just having them on your shelf and having them collect dust. You can actually play with them, quote unquote, as an adult. You know what I mean? And do something cool with them. Or as a kid, even kids, like just introducing them to it and stuff.
Well, dude, I teach 7th and 8th grade. I'm a mass media teacher. Like that's half of my day. And 7th grade, I just went over. Like I do, it's by semester, and I just did my photography intro. And I said, just so you know, I might be a teacher, but just because you are paid to do a thing doesn't mean that's your whole identity. And I said, and I'm a photographer, and I happen to take toy photography. And they're like, what?
I must have loved that.
And, oh man, like. Because I've had kids now, like it blows their mind because just like here I am when I learned that this was a thing, I'm like, oh, I get to play with toys again. Like I left that, like I thought that was behind, like I didn't have the imagination, like, to be able to lose myself into like when I was a child, like I collected for the shelf and like, man, I like toys, but then that was it. Now I get to play with them again, and it's amazing. And
exactly.
A 7th grader is at that stage in 8th grade where they're like, man, you remember as a kid, like when you were 13, like it's like it's not clicking like it used to, you start losing that, you lose that shine, lose that gold, a little, nothing gold can stay,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And all of a sudden they're like, wait, I can still do the things. And I got some kids into like shooting
Cool.
Star Wars. I brought some Black Series in for them, and it was really
Nice. Yeah.
cool. Like
Kids now don't even play with toys. I mean, forget about like even as a kid, man, they're not
yeah.
really even playing with like action figures and stuff. Video games. It's video games and your phone and games on the phone and
Yeah.
so it's a whole other thing. So that's interesting. And I'm sorry. It's Jace.
Yeah, Jason.
Getting my glasses. I do have a fun. It's a great hobby where I feel young and forget about it. And the chicks
That's
that like
it. Yep. That's it, man. That's it.
Okay.
I know. I
Works for
apologize for not being, like whenever I do my interviews, I like
I know
to
it's hard.
fixate on, well, because like I want to give you my attention. So like I do. The great news is the chat is always like they're on top of each other. Like they're great. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Like here's Raviston. Like I appreciate that, Marco. You know that. But that's the thing. Like I might not comment on every single post, but
Right.
the ones I do, I really try to make it a meaningful. I do try
Right.
to like look at something, notice something, and
Yep.
just like people, especially adults, I feel like, and again, this is something that I've noticed like when I got into the toy community, like officially, was like when you left school, you really do lose that support system and like everybody pulling for you. Like when you're a kid in middle school, every teacher wants you to succeed and everybody's telling you what a great job you're doing.
Right.
So I've tried to bring that to us and like in our community and
Absolutely.
Just like, hey, you're doing a great job, keep it going.
Yeah.
And like last week or 2 weeks ago I interviewed Figure Battles. I don't know if you know his work.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And he's had a bone to pick, and rightfully so. With I'm going to throw it out. I'm not trying to like pick a fight or anything, but like the ACBA group on Facebook, they could be a little nitpicky. I don't know if you're in that too.
Starting beef, Yimbo. You're starting beef.
I'm really. Hey, I have 2 years or I have a whole year of live streaming.
You go ahead and say what you're saying because I'm an admin there, and it's an interesting thing, and because I know where you're coming from. So
okay. Oh, so that's I didn't even realize that you were in that, and that's a funny thing.
Yeah.
Like, but it just I feel like some of the like it comes off as nitpicky. Some of the comments, some of the things about the rules and things like that. But again, like to me, it defeats the purpose of. I feel like there were too many people that I read their comments like when they post like I hope this is okay, and it was like a little nerve-wracking, and I'm like, come on, man, like if you're proud of it, if you're about to put something out on the internet, like that should be good. Like you should celebrate that. Like you're proud of it, get it out there. So anyway, I apologize that you're in there.
No, that's fine because believe me, I had my problems with them at first too. The group as first of all, and as an admin and having been on there for a long time, I've worked them over a little bit about this anyway, is the whole Photoshop equals bad. And I'm like, dude, Photoshop is a photography tool. Right. Every photographer uses either Lightroom, Photoshop, or a combination of both. It doesn't mean you have to add effects or take out wires, stands and things like that. You can use it for contrast and dodging and burning and making your photo look, just bringing it to life. The kind of stuff that you can't necessarily do in camera. Now, so I've worked on them with that. And just using Photoshop is a bad term. Photoshop is not a bad term. If you don't want people adding, lasers or they like the cutouts. I don't use cutouts. I don't like them. Sorry, don't like them. I know they love it. But I've made my own niche in there. The key to that group is you got to think of it this way. I always thought it was kind of stupid too. I'm like, really, no Photoshop and this and that and whatever. It's like cubism, let's say, in art or something like that. You know what I mean? Whereas like, well, I'm going to come in here and be Salvador Dali and hey guys, can I hang it? Like, no, that's not cubism, man.
Right.
What you're doing that's surreal. That's not cubism. But we're a cubist group. And that's their thing. Their thing is they like the cutouts. They hide the stands. They don't Photoshop out stands. So if you've got a stand that you want to hide, put something in front of it.
Sure.
Find some way to hide it with smoke or the cotton ball or whatever.
Yeah.
That's their art form. You know what I mean? So when people come in and they do like Photoshop for days, like everything is
Yeah,
obviously. I took a background, I stuck a guy, I took a picture of him and cut him out and put him on the back. That they're
yeah,
like, this is not the way we do things here. Like,
right,
sorry, it's
and
just
that's
not our
fair.
thing.
And well, that's
There
something
are
that
nitpicky things that people will get, like, oh, you didn't point that toe. Sometimes it's good advice. I mean, sometimes you
yeah,
have to overlook some of the people who are. Listen, they've opened that up to a lot of different people at this point. There are a lot
yeah,
of people in that group, and not everybody is a real expert. You know what I mean?
sure,
And there are some people who like to do things certain ways. Simon Hill is a great ACBA photographer, right?
hmm
He does great stuff, but he does it a certain way. He doesn't like any Photoshop. He doesn't like any post
yeah,
editing. He just takes it out of the camera for the most part and puts it up there. But they're great shots, and that's his art form. You know what I mean?
right,
That's fine.
right,
But I don't expect, and I don't think he's this way. But like, you don't have to do it exactly the way he does it. You know what I mean?
right,
Just stick to their rules. I Photoshop shit. They still love my stuff. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And I'll say, like, listen, I took out a stand in this. Deal with it. You know what I mean? If you don't like
yeah,
it, you
yeah,
don't like it. I don't care. This is the shot. I'm posting it here. I will always tell you if I've broken a rule,
right.
um, to be upfront about it. And at this point, nobody gives a shit.
Well,
So
first of all, I'm like, I'm still cracking myself up because I had no idea that you were an admin in there. So like, but again, I didn't come.
recently, yeah, yeah,
The nice, okay, so I I equated it to this, where I feel like in terms of the rules, it really is like shooting on hard mode. It's like playing a video game on hard mode or
it
expert,
is.
and and I think that I respect the hell out of it in that regard. I think the thing that I would like, and this is just maybe, in your admin meetings. I'm not saying that's a thing that happens. I'm just
So it
joking,
happened.
but like, because it is the biggest group. Like, that was the first group that I joined when I was like, oh, toy photography, cool.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah,
discovered ACBA, and
yeah.
I had
A lot of people
requested,
do. Yep.
yeah, and I sat in there for literally a year, just, like, but I was also kind of disappeared from Facebook in general, like in all regards.
Right.
But like, hearing, a couple of my friends talking about it and visiting, and like, I see what they're saying. Like, the comments, can be a little, like, it's not like as uplifting, or, but
It is.
again,
It
I
is.
get
It
it.
is not Instagram. It is not the community. I also likened it to, like, I went to art school, and when you went in for critique, you
Mhm.
weren't. You couldn't expect that everybody was going to be like, "Well, this is all great, man. You did a great job. I love everything about it." No, it was like, that line. That's not in the right perspective. I think you should have balanced it to the other side, and you're just like, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
you're not happy about it, but if you internalize it, you'll learn something out of it. And generally, there are things to be learned there. Now, there are
Mhm.
people who come off the wrong way. I have also tried to instill this, as have many of the other admins. But again, we're fighting an uphill battle where there's a lot of
Right.
people there.
Hmm.
To start out, this is the way I've always done it as an art director. Like, start out finding something that you like. I love the
Yeah,
light you did here.
right.
This guy's leg looks like it's broken. But the light is great. If you just
Yeah,
fix that leg, and that's the way
right.
you do it. Don't just like,
Yeah,
his leg looks broken.
right. That's what I'm saying. As a middle
All
school
right.
teacher, that's where I
But
would
you're
come
you're
from
coming
too.
but you're coming from a place where you know how to deal, and like, you
Yeah,
have to do that with a seventh grader. You can't,
right.
like, just say you are the worst writer I've ever met. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you're terrible. Like, you did a I love the story idea, you
Yeah,
know,
sure.
please capitalize your sentences or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to do that stuff, but not
Yeah,
everybody has that skill set. And
right.
as much
That's
as we bring it up every once in a while and say, hey, listen, here's the way to do this. Not
mhm.
everybody has that. And it is not encouraged, but it is a group that is there to basically, they say, if you want to learn it, you're
Yeah,
here to learn it. If you're going to put it out there, you're going to put it out there. Take the criticism, either ignore it or say, all right, thanks. I'll remember that the next time.
yeah. That's a good. Sure, I appreciate
It
this.
just
Is
is.
yeah.
Instagram is very much I tried to bring, this is the last thing I'll say about it. I tried to bring
No,
this
yeah.
thing called, I put a tag together called, want CC, I think, which is creative criticism,
Okay.
for people who wanted to have, and I would, like, go on and I would actually, if somebody tagged that, I would check the tag and I would say, all right, here you go. Looks great pose on this guy. Love the focus. But you have a giant ficus plant behind this figure and it's like completely out of scale.
Sure.
Stay away from that. Think about your environment, whatever,
Yeah.
giving him good feedback, like that. It lasted for, a few months. It didn't really go anywhere, but I was trying to bring that into Instagram because Instagram I find sometimes is just a little like you either ignore it or it's like constant flowery praise about everything that's like, oh, it's a good shot.
Yeah.
But like there are things that could be improved if you wanted to hear it, but nobody really wants to hear it there. You know what I mean? Or I feel like they don't want to hear it. So I wanted to give you the invitation to say, like, do you want me to tell you what you can do better on this?
I like that.
Then
I
put
like
that tag up there. So I'm thinking about doing actually on my channel I'm trying to get this member thing going, and maybe for members, what I'm going to do is like open it up to send me a shot that you want to be creatively critiqued.
Yeah,
and I'll do it. I'll tell you some things that could make this better. Maybe it's a crop. Maybe it's whatever.
Sure.
But I mean, that's how you learn. Not just people telling you that this is great, and it's like it's not really great. You know what I mean? It's like that's an okay shot, but you know what you could do. Think about the rule of thirds. You know what I mean? And like that could make the shot better. But they don't know what that is, and nobody's telling them because they're just saying, "This is so cool, man! Great shot." That's
I hear you. No, Trevor. Because looking at that group now, I feel like that's now a doorway in my mind that's been opened. Looking at it like an art school in terms of that's the mentality. That helps so much more because now I want to share. Now I do now it's like, oh, all right, I will take the time to show you a couple other angles so you can get a full feel for it as opposed to just like, no one's going to comment if I don't do all of the things.
Right. And you may never get to the point where you want to do fully tangible shots, right? Because I know there's a lot of big accounts. It's so much easier for me to put a stand in. I've been using Photoshop since like version 2. Okay. So to put any stand in there, have my character flying or fighting or whatever over the top of somebody and take that out in Photoshop, it's so easy. Like I could do it with my eyes closed.
Right.
But the challenge of actually trying to hide things or do a layout where that's either minimal or completely non-existent, it's kind of like a puzzle.
Yeah.
And I find myself doing it more often than not.
Okay.
Which I never thought I would do because like I said, like when I started out, it was like all Photoshop. I took a picture of the figure and I Photoshopped the background basically and put some environment in and it looked great. You wouldn't be able to tell, but like this is a challenge to set up, you know what I mean? And make it look good without doing all the Photoshop stuff or putting filters on it or, whatever. So it's an interesting challenge. You may never love that. You may never want to do that permanently, but I would say try it, just give it a shot and see what you can do, or just post the ones that you do that on ACBA and don't post the ones where you've got 15 lightsabers going and people flying in the air that you've taken out stands with Photoshop. Johnny Sergeant Bananas used to post on there all the time, and this just so anybody who's doing this now, like Boog Nice who runs it and other people would say, how did you get him? How did you hide the stand going through there? And he'd be like, I Photoshopped it out. And like people would say, you should really try it without Photoshop. You should probably, like even, it's a Sergeant Bananas. And he did, he did do some stuff that he started to post without like doing effects and it was, it's a challenge for yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, if you are a surrealist, try cubism, see how it goes,
I mean, one of my favorite things is trying to achieve balance in, like without using stands, like to try to get like that's why Spider-Man he's my favorite character, but Spider-Man is so tough to do anything in terms of web slinging without a stand. It's so hard. At least I've had so much trouble with it. So like he's somebody that I know. I'm going to take a picture. This is going to be 20, 30 minutes of editing afterwards just to get it look right. But
there's things that you're going to learn there too. Like there's the glass technique, which if you take, you have a plate of glass, you have to keep this very clean. and you can have Spider-Man laying on his back, basically doing, with his legs up. If you can
Sure.
balance him on his back with his arm up and his leg up, and underneath that is your television screen or your laptop screen or whatever, or and some couple of props laying down,
Hmm.
and then you've got him flying through the air, and
Yeah.
you didn't have to prop him up on a stand or anything. I don't do that stuff a lot either. I don't really love that technique. It works.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd just rather take the Photoshop it out and just tell him like, listen, man, I'm Spider-Man. I'm not trying to, unless, if he's flying through the air, I'm probably gonna have to take a little bit of a stand out. Sorry.
Well, I mean, like one of the things I got proud of was being able to use my iPad with like an Apple Pencil and like actually paint over like stands for like I'm on
Yeah.
Misco because like I just made my own flight stand with like but then that's not gonna work with Spider-Man. I'm not gonna shove a hanger up him. Like
No, there's nowhere to put a
right.
no.
So I was getting really good at that, but then that still left, in my mind, it still left a lot to be desired.
Right.
So then, yeah, I do want to start. See, this is why this is a good. See, I'm glad I brought it up because,
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
said, you opened my mind. New perspectives. I love it.
Yeah, like I'll evangelize for it, but I'm not 100% like, I'm not that person who's I'm going to use cutouts and everything, and I'm going to never use a stand and only use cotton for fog. No, I'm going to use actual fog. I'm going to use, I dabble, I
Yeah,
guess, a little more than dabble, but it is a good group. I mean, but you do have to get your sea legs, and it is good to just get in there and like even
yeah,
comment on other people's. It's like anything, like Instagram, like you were
right,
saying earlier. Like,
yeah,
yes, you can't do it all the time, but if
right,
you leave a really good comment somewhere and people start seeing your name,
yeah,
that's another way to gain followers. It's like, oh, this
right,
guy's got
right,
really insightful, or he's a nice guy because he leaves a comment, so yeah,
yeah.
just get in
Um,
there and try it out.
All right. So, no, this is good because, like I said, I've been sitting there. The last couple of weeks it would be more like I'll hop in on a Saturday. I tried a couple things out. Like posted a couple of ones, but then, yeah, this is good. This is good, Trev. And you know
Yeah.
what? I'm with you too in terms of the constructive criticism because again, as I'm a teacher, I'm like a life. I try to consider myself a
Yeah.
lifelong learner. I want to
Hmm.
always get better,
Right.
and you're right. Instagram is the safer alternative in terms of just posting, and you get people
It's
will enjoy
fun.
your art, and it's fun.
Yeah.
But I
There's no
um
thumbs down. There's no.
yeah, but like I don't feel comfortable even with my friends, like just being like oh wouldn't you want to try that like unless they
No.
were asking like I like
Exactly.
and I
And
feel
that's the
like
way it should be.
right
But that's what ACBA encourages is that if you're coming on here and posting, it's in the description.
yeah, which is
Expect to
fair,
be critiqued. If you don't want to be
right,
critiqued, don't post to
and
it. That's
don't
all it is
yeah
to it. It's fine.
yeah this is good, this is
And not
good.
everybody is like that. And again, just look at the rules.
Hmm.
Uh, Look at other people's work. And there is another group. There's a couple other groups that are like behind the scenes that you can learn some. The same type of people will post on, like Behind the
Sure.
Scenes International and the Grind, which I think is an invite thing, but like it's basically ACBA people like putting. But in the comments, they encourage people to put what they call the seaside, which is the BTS, the behind the
Hmm.
scenes. You can learn a lot from that stuff. So don't just be, I want to post and I expect everybody to love this the way all my friends
Yeah.
have said it's great.
Right.
Probably not going to happen. And
Hmm.
go into the comments, look for the seasides,
Hmm.
and learn something from the seasides, and just kind of get a feel for what they're doing before you just start posting, 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 posting.
Sure.
Because it is different, and you're going to hear it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
So.
fair. That's fair. And like there's another because again, there's so many circles. Like here's
Hmm.
Cox Great saying like there's a Sir Dork Discord. I
Yeah.
haven't even gotten it. I downloaded Discord, the app. I still haven't even made an account. I haven't opened it. I think ever. I just downloaded it at this like a
Discord's
year ago.
interesting. I find it very overwhelming for all the groups within the groups, but it's probably going to be the next, sort of Facebook, uh,
Yeah.
chat group. What do you call it? Like a bulletin board type of thing for groups like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause-
Well, Agent Variant was trying to get one of our group chats to switch over just because he's like, it's so much easier to stay organized. Like we keep losing stuff. You have to, you have to go back. Like if it was like a day ago, you're still scrolling up and up and up to find the one
yeah,
thing that you needed.
yeah. I still find that on there. Maybe I don't. I may not know how to use Discord perfectly either, but I don't know. It's good. It's a cool. There's some really good groups on there. There's an ACBA group on there that actually, that's really, if you are on Discord, the ACBA group on there is a little more low key. So it's a little
Okay.
more friendly. There's a lot of people learning, and again, you got to bring an open mind and
Sure.
be willing to ask questions and not just come off as an expert or post something and expect everybody to love it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it is maybe a little less harsh than the Facebook group. I don't know.
That's fair. No, that's fair. And like I said, I have a greater appreciation now for what's going on in there. And now I do. Now I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna go check that out. Like now I'm excited to again because like I love learning. I said it before, but I really do. And there's so much, especially like I said, there's like Spider-Man is a perfect example of like a character I want to shoot. I would shoot him all the time. I would shoot him like 3 or 4 like he would be the lion's share of my week if I felt comfortable. Like, but if I'm gonna not have him web slinging, I'm gonna do balancy stuff, but it's gonna be like a punch or a kick or something like
that. The balancy stuff is great. They love that stuff. But even like you can do Photoshop. It's not against the rules. I mean, you will always get that person who's a purist in the comments saying, "Why didn't you try and hide the stand like this?" Or "Why didn't you try and do this?" Again, you can just say nothing.
Time.
As long as you call it out. As long as you call it out and say, "Listen, this isn't all tangible or whatever." I did have to Photoshop out some stands here or there, but they're more appreciative of that. But yeah, I mean, it can be good, and you can always try and throw that back. Not throw it back, but like say, I get called out on stuff, and I've done some stuff where like I think this is a fucking great picture, and I mean it is, whatever. I'm happy with the picture, but like somebody will look at it and like that nitpicky thing, like his toe looks like it's pointing a little awkward. I'm like, really? Really? Look at this fucking thing. That's what you're gonna pick out of this? Is the toe is a little off? You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it may be right, but like, come on, dude. I got a lot going on here. And I missed the toe. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Oh man. Let me see if I have anything else for you here, because I mean, oh man, this has been a lot of fun, Trev. I really appreciate this.
Yeah, it has been fun. This is a good conversation. I'm glad.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I guess. So what are you down to? I guess this is an easy one. Like how many days a week now are you shooting? Because like I used to do the daily shooting when it was like just my phone, and then when I graduated to a camera last April, then it started. I started shrinking it down, and now if I'm lucky, it's once or twice a week. Twice, man. Once is a good. Like, where are you? Is that same about right or?
Yeah, and then I got Jace had a question I'm going to answer, but I would. It's tough to say. Like literally right now, my table, I'm shooting little tablets and pills for a client. So my table is currently occupied by a white background, and I got like about 40 more to go. So I probably won't be able to shoot until at least tomorrow. And I don't like to shoot outside, so that's off the table. I would say I'm probably YouTube is the other thing though, and I keep thinking like maybe I'm stretching myself too thin with stuff, but I've been getting into the YouTube stuff and it's fun. So once or twice a week, man. And again, like lately with my shots, I've been probably agonizing too much, but I'm at a point where I'm like, I want this picture I want to look at it myself. I'm doing stuff. Like if I showed you, and I may do this on a show or something at some point, if I showed you what I had in version 1, many people, not everybody, but many people would probably say, looks great. Or good, whatever, not great.
Sure.
It looks fine, But I'm making notes going, no, that arm should be down about, half an inch over here. I don't like the way his head is looking. It doesn't seem to be, it's too starey this way. It should be off to the sub, whatever. Just all these little notes. So I'll,
Yeah.
again, go back and shoot it again and maybe shoot it again until I
Mhm.
get, and I'm looking at it and I look and look and look, and you can look at it in the lens, you can have it tethered to your computer and look at it full screen and still miss shit until you sit down and edit it and go,
Yeah.
that guy's head, if that guy's head was just over like 2 inches, it would be this perfect
Yep.
composition. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go and do it. I'm like, I
Yeah.
could like put this up and nobody's gonna care on Instagram. Nobody's gonna care. Like it'll
Right.
get the same amount of likes as the next one that I do. But for
Mhm.
myself, I want to look at it and go, I did the best I could do on this thing, man. This
Sure.
is everything I thought of, I put into it, and as for posterity, I'm happy with it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I'm like down to like maybe twice a week. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Well, I know the struggle. Sometimes I think I have gold when I'm looking at a completed shot on the camera. As soon as I transfer it over,
Oh yeah, all the
it's
time.
so frustrating. It's so
That's why I
frustrating.
tried tethering to the computer. Like, see, that
Yeah.
you can bring it up on the computer, but there's issues with that and keeping it in Lightroom and taking it out. But
Mhm.
it does help to see what you're shooting.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that luxury either. Just a laptop laying around. But it's still, you can still miss stuff. You still, when you sit
Yeah.
down and you're really getting into it, the nitty
Mhm.
gritty and the editing, the final editing, something inevitably is like,
Yeah.
why is that hand moved, or why, I didn't see that he had like the mask was tilted, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
There's always some
Yeah.
little thing where you're like, shit.
I
you
know.
know
I was taking a shot. I set up a shot. My kids. Oh my god! I did it in the den just to like make it a family because like my kids are like I said they're getting to be 3 in June,
Oh wow.
so they're starting. My daughter, like they know daddy's toys. They know not to mess with daddy's toys, and
They do
like
now.
yeah, I know. So today I was setting something up and of course my son was gonna kept messing with me like he was gonna knock over everything. I had this whole little scene, but anyway, I had Daredevil grabbing the hood and I just kept having like nope, it just wasn't like I had to keep
Yeah.
turning shifting to
Yeah.
get the mouth covered just right because it
Yep.
was driving me insane, and if
Yep.
I settled I would have been really mad. So I'm glad
Yep.
my kid didn't knock it over before I got the what I hope is a final shot. I don't even know. I have to hope.
You've untied him since, right, from the chair.
Oh yeah, no, he came very close. Like oh man, I was gonna be very upset.
But that's kind of what we were talking about earlier, is like that's the kind of thing like where if somebody puts it out and you didn't do that and it was just kind of like the hand was like this, like you're dealing with a immobile hand, so you've got to get
Right.
it into a position that looks good, but maybe it was like this.
Yeah.
People will look at it and go, oh, that cool shot, great shot.
Right.
But you know if somebody looked at it and was critiquing, is like, it would have been better if you just got that hand a
Yeah, like
little
the
bit
more
over the
grippy.
mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
really more, and his head was turned a little more, like you could make it look like he was doing, whatever you're trying to do
Right. Right.
there. I mean, that's the kind of stuff, like, think about it, because it makes you think about it, even if it's not a perfect lesson, like, oh, always have the head. Not, it's not going to be every shot,
Sure.
but think about those little details while you're shooting it. Watch the way the toe is pointing, so nobody
Yeah.
says that toe is pointing. Toe is pointing, kind of weird.
Yeah.
It just makes you think about that stuff the next time you do it. So yeah.
Well,
it's good.
somebody, you were on his show, but you talked to Eddie and his toys, like another mythic
Yep.
guy.
Yep.
And he was somebody that gave me one of the best pieces of posing advice because he's a martial artist, and
Oh.
he was like, he's like, I stand up. He's like, I will go through whatever the thing is going to be, and
Yep.
I will feel my body, the shift in weight. And now
Exactly.
I'm not flexible. I'm not throwing hit kicks or anything, but
Right.
I feel like I throw a mean toy right or left hook. Like
Yeah.
I have a mean punch, and I will stand up there and I will and get like, okay, I need that left foot leading. I need this
Exactly.
turn, and it's going through
Yep.
that, and I
Slight tilt to the upper
Yeah.
bar. Yeah, it's just the way people stand, it's not straight. There's a hip sometimes that's down, or
Yeah.
up, and the back is a little arch backwards. They're not straight up and down either. Your back's back a little bit. Yeah, it's all those things. And comic books are great for posing, obviously. But yeah, if you're just standing in a room and you're like, how do I, this punch isn't looking right. Literally just stand there and do
Yeah.
that. Like, what would you do if you were, like doing
Yeah.
this? And like, look at yourself, even if you need a mirror, like just, okay, so
Right.
the arm is kind of up, it's about mid shoulder. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a great way to do it. Yeah. It's great for posing for sure.
And I played baseball my whole life. I don't know if you're a baseball fan, but or played, but I same thing. Like that was like a thing growing up too. Batting stance, go through the motion, do it in front of the mirror. It's like it all, again, just taking that time. Like, but you want it to feel natural, then do it naturally.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it really
and
does translate.
The other thing is, I would say, like, advanced beyond that is the exaggeration.
Yes.
Which, because we're all dealing with comic books and sci-fi for the most part. I mean, some of this stuff is based more in people and reality, but at the same time, when you're dealing with art, you want to dramatize.
Sure. Yes.
The shot. So, yeah, get the punch. This is good. This is even better. You know what I mean? It's like arch the back, get that fit. It's all that drawing comics the Marvel way, which I had that book. I read it like the Bible when I was a kid. I wanted to be a comic book artist. But it's great. It tells you all those things. It's like, this is nice, but that's a punch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
I've definitely that book has been recommended. I mean, I remember from childhood, but that's you're the second person. I'm trying to remember the first person that mentioned that they use that again now as an adult with toy photography.
Yep.
Going back in and re-saying like, oh yeah, that's right. What did I do?
It just resets your brain. It's like, yeah, okay, though this looks like a punch, but it just looks weak. He's not leading into it. There's no action there. Mm-hmm. The guy. I mean, it's exaggeration. If you get punched, you're gonna go, ugh. But if you get punched in the comic books, you're going to go,
yes.
Your entire body's going to be arched backwards and your hands are going to be out and you're going to be folded in half. And like that's a punch. You know what I mean? So that's going to look really good. Sometimes it's maybe too much, but it all depends on the picture. But yeah, just think about that too.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, if you wanted to bring that hashtag back or make that a thing, I mean, that is, it would be interesting to see if people, would be more open to it. Because, like we are coming into, like, I also feel like this now where it's been 2 years, like in terms of, like when most people jumped into this hobby and like discovered it. And now we are at a point where if you're still sticking around, this is going to be a thing you're doing, like I always say, this is a lifetime hobby now. Like I'm not going anywhere. And maybe this is where we start taking the community as we continue to grow it. We soften it with the marshmallow technique. Right. I really like this, but then we're that.
I still see people posting to it. I don't generally respond anymore, which is probably why nobody's doing it. But it just didn't become. It kind of like lagged off, and I just didn't bother. But what I'm thinking about doing is either bringing that back as my own hashtag for like the membership or something, and then doing a show. Because it's just it's actually easier to sit here and look at it on the screen and go, okay, here, take the arrow and go like, this is what, than it is to try to explain in text only. That was the other problem with the Instagram. It was like, okay, you see that plant? It's on the upper right, whatever it is, so it's very difficult. But like, I'm thinking about doing that here and like just making it like a members thing. Like, you could submit a few shots and we'll go through them. But again, a voluntary thing. You can't, don't ever do that if nobody's asked you to. It's not generally a good idea. I like you said, I don't really even do it with friends unless they ask. Unless it's something that's like, oh my God, you were on the cusp of greatness here. If you just like take half an inch off that left-hand side, this is going to look so incredible or whatever like that,
Right.
Or they're missing something. It's like, hey, dude, did you notice that guy in the back his arm is missing? Whatever that is.
No, I hear you. Oh man. Well, Trev, we hit 2 hours. I think I'm fairly certain.
We did.
I'm fairly certain my wife is asleep now. She's sleeping. It's all good. This is a tomorrow Yimbo problem.
Screw that guy.
Yeah, he's I'll just have to get up with the kids. That's my goal. If I can get the kids up and ready tomorrow, she'll be very happy with me. So,
there you go.
But man, this has been so much fun, and I hope we get to do it again. Whether coming back on here, or if you ever want me to come on one.
I got to get a format. Well, maybe the Mythic show. You know what I mean? Now that you're into that kind of stuff, so
yeah.
We'll get on that, and because I do want to bring some people onto Legion's Lounge that are like you and Toy Bro and some of the other people who are reviewers and chat show hosts that are into Mythic, and just kind of go through and talk to them. So we'll get you on there one of these days.
Well, I will bring my Nubian. I'm such a noob.
Yeah, but that's fun. I like
my limited. And my love of Masters. We have Masters of the Universe.
Oh, there you go. That'd be great. We'll do that when there's a new wave out or something when it comes out. We'll get those people, because then we'll have something new to talk about. So
that sounds good. Cool. I definitely. Is there a new wave coming out with because I know outside of Cosmic, is there a Mythic like they're still chugging along?
Alithia is supposed to be on its way. I think it's actually possibly on the water right now. Which could mean another month or two, but it's supposed to be Q2 2022. And then the Deluxe Legion builders, which I think went up for pre-order about this time last year. I think they're going to be coming up pretty soon too. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming out this summer. And then you got PowerCon. Should be a couple. They usually have a couple figures to tie into that somehow. I probably available. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I really actually don't know. Sometimes I have to, lie, but I really actually don't know. Then Legion's Con, there's probably going to be some exclusives for that. So this is going
to be my first Legion Con. I'm excited.
So much fun,
I'm excited.
Man.
And my brother-in-law just bought me a ticket for New York Comic Con. We went to the Thursday show back in October, so I forget what day got, but probably something like that. Cool. But I'll be going back at least one of the days, so I'm excited.
All right, we'll grab lunch.
Yeah, that sounds good. Excellent.
Cool.
But thanks, so man. Trevor, if you would like to, just name drop whatever you'd like to promote for people before we go.
16_shooter on Instagram, 16shooter everywhere else. Twitter, if you're on Twitter. Twitter is becoming a thing, though. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
there's a good growing toy community on Twitter. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Facebook, same thing, 16shooter, and here on YouTube, it's at 16shooter. Shoot your toys with 16shooter, but you can look up 16shooter. It should come up, or you might get some other weird stuff too. I don't know, but just my links are all on my Instagram, so the YouTube links and stuff are there.
That's what I always say. I'm like, that's my primary mode of communication.
Yeah, everything. It's hard to direct people. Just go there. Go to the link.
Just go there, and then I will respond to other stuff that you find. But that's my main.
Exactly. I am on TikTok. I hate TikTok, but I'm on TikTok.
I'm on TikTok too. I know. Don't talk to me there.
It's a slog, man. But yeah. The again, Legion's Lounge will be 1/6 pack is 1/6 figures. That'll be this Friday, and then every other Friday from there. And Legion's Lounge this coming Monday. No, sorry.
It's okay.
Week from a week from Monday.
Okay. Yeah, because tomorrow's the 9th, so it'd be the 16th. Right?
16th. We got some pretty cool guests coming up, so but check that out. It's a fun show. Yeah. And then just my regular shooting reviews and toy videos with tips and tricks behind the scenes and stuff. So check that out.
All right. Well, Trevor, really, again, it was an honor, man. I appreciate it so much.
Thanks,
you
man.
taking the time to hang out, and sorry for eating up 2 hours tonight, but I mean, hell, this is a blast, dude. This is a great time.
It's a good time, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, everybody, thank you so much, and have a great rest of your Sunday night, and everybody have a great week, and we'll see you on the flip. See you later, Trev. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.